Welcome, everyone, to Edmond Stadium for another exciting football game tonight on the Sound Live Sports Network. The Meadowdale Mavericks, who come into this football game with an overall record of 4 wins and 1 loss, that loss being a non-conference game, so a conference record of 4 wins and 0 losses. They're looking to wrap up the Wesco 3A South title tonight and can do so by beating the Lynnwood Royals, the upstart Lynnwood Royals, who are 3 wins and 2 losses on the season, 1 win and 2 losses in conference play. Should be a great game tonight. Steve Willits along with Steve McGrain. And Steve, should point out that we just got done watching another very exciting game. If this game is anything like that one, this is going to be a fun couple of hours. 2
fantastic quarterbacks, a 2-headed monster in the backfield at running back for both teams, some great receivers out there, and on defense, a lot of guys who just have a motor to run the entire night. It's going to be a fun one, Steve.
Yeah, and the game I'm referring to was Mount Lake Terrace just defeated Glacier Peak 33-32 in a game that Mount Lake Terrace trailed 22-0 at halftime. That was for second place. And again, if we have a game that's half as exciting as that one was, this is going to be a fun game. Lynnwood wearing the home dark uniforms. It's a pink out night. It's a night in which the Lynnwood Royals fans are supporting Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Fans are wearing pink. The cheerleaders are wearing pink. And their football team is about ready to kick off here. And we are ready for action as Carson Horner steps into the ball, kicks it away, and here we go. Malik Braxton taking the ball at the 19-yard line, looking for space, cuts it back into the middle of the field, gets to the 35, and is brought down at the 36-yard line. A gain of 17, and that is where Meadowdale comes onto the field for the first time tonight. Let's get you caught up on their starting lineup. On the offensive line, you've got left tackle Tim Smith wearing number 52. Number 54, Brandon Law, playing left guard. Number 75, Spencer Stark at center. Number 77, Lucas Hummel at guard. And the right tackle, your homecoming king from last week, Peyton Smyer, number 66. We'll get you caught up with the rest of the starting lineup in just a moment, as that is number 6, Caleb Tingstead, back to take the first snap of the game. Throws a screen pass out to Malik Braxton, and the ball falls to the turf, incomplete. And to complete that starting lineup, we just mentioned Malik Braxton. He is one of your starting wide receivers, along with number 10, Donnie Evans, and number 19, Harry White. Charlie White, number 32, is your starting tight end. He's an all-conference player. Caleb Tingstead is your quarterback. And wearing the number 4, last week's Red Onion Burgers Player of the Week, Player of the Game, Rory Spillum. 2nd and 10 from the 37-yard line. Tingstead hands it off to Spillum. Spillum looking for room along the left, and the Lynnwood defense has come to play. 1-yard gain.
Well, it's a great job against this guy who's shifty and has the speed of a Rory Spillum. You have to keep him tight and don't give him a lot of space. That defensive end on the far side of the field for Lynnwood turned him back in, and by that time, middle linebacker Andrew Katzenberger, you'll hear his name a lot on offense, but tonight, or at that play, it was on defense. They kept him contained and brought him down for a 1-yard pickup.
Yeah, you're likely to hear his name on both sides of the ball. Katzenberger having a huge year thus far, playing that middle linebacker position. 3rd and 9 coming up for the Mavericks right now. Fakes the handoff to Spillum. Tingstead rolls out, fires the ball, completes it to Braxton at the 50, cuts down the field, he's to the 35, and fights his way forward to the 31-yard line. 31-yard gain for Malik. First down, Mavericks.
Just a simple rollout to the right side for Meadowdale Mavericks. He had pressure from Katzenberger, was able to deliver the ball perfectly on kind of a comeback route from Malik Braxton. He was able to turn it back inside, avoid the first tackler, and then ultimately be brought down.
So Braxton picking up huge yards there. We do have a player injured along the sideline here. It is one of the Royals. Cannot see a number of the players.
I think it was number 21, Steve.
See Carson Horner rolling over onto his back. And we will take a quick break right now as they tend to Carson Horner. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And Carson Horner walks off the field on his own. Little help from the trainer there as he's over on the sideline holding his stomach area. He might have just taken a shot to the rib cage. We'll keep you updated on him as Rory Spillum looking for room out to the left-hand side. Closes up quickly, but Spillum manages to fight forward to around the 26. We'll call that a gain of 5. That brings up 2nd and 5 for the Mavericks.
One of the jobs as a defensive end, you got to keep containment, keep the running backs, fullbacks, quarterbacks, keep them inside and don't let them get around. That time, number 50 for Lynnwood Royals kind of went a little bit too far upfield, and then Roy Spillum was able to get around him. Keep containment so these runners can't get around, get in space, and turn up the sideline.
10-18 left in the first quarter. Tinkstead looking over the middle, firing to, that was Harrison White, his intended receiver. White not quite able to come up with that one, and the ball was thrown just a bit high. It's going to bring up 3rd and 5.
For these if you want to be comfortable as a receiver, you got to be able to trust your quarterback. That time, Tinkstad threw it a little high, right where the safety was sitting for the receiver, White, where his route was going to end up. Kind of got to get it down a little bit, get it to him early so your playmaker can make a play and not be put in harm's way.
So Donnie Evans, Malik Braxton, and Harrison White all lining up to the left. Rory Spillum in the backfield. Handoff goes to Spillum. He eludes the first would-be tackler, but doesn't get much more than that as he might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. And Meadowdale now bringing Brett Schaefer on for a 43-yard field goal attempt.
65 for Meadowdale for Lynnwood was able to get a push, leaving a wide open gap right between the left guard and center for Andrew Katzberger to blitz through, bringing down Spillum and leaving it up to a 4th down field goal opportunity.
We're going to spot this on the 34-yard line, so it will be a 44-yarder. We know Schaefer has the leg, one of the stronger kickers in all of Wesco. The kick is up. It's got plenty of distance, and it is good. Brett Schaefer drills it from 44 yards out with 9:33 to go in the first quarter. Meadowdale on the board first, 3-0. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger. And thank you for watching.
2 minutes and 27 seconds are off the clock, and Meadowdale gets on the board first. They lead Lynnwood 3-0. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network, presented by Shoreline Community College. Meadowdale's had their first shot. Lynnwood now bringing their offense on for the first time tonight after this kickoff is Brett Schaefer, who just connected on a 44-yard field goal. He is set to kick off to the Lynnwood Royals. And good news if you are a Lynnwood Royal fan, or just good news in general, Carson Horner, who left the game a couple of minutes ago with an injury, is now back to return along with number 25, Richard Trung. Schaefer boots that one well out of the end zone. Touchback. Lynnwood takes over on the 20.
Look for Lynnwood to maybe come out with their starting quarterback, Justin Cochopo, maybe do some short intermediate passes. Meadowdale knows that they like to do a steady dose of giving the football to either Andrew Katzenberger or Alton Hammond out of the backfield, but try to get your quarterback settled in and get him comfortable early on against this very stout Meadowdale defense.
Yeah, let's get you caught up on the Meadowdale defense now, as we do have a too deep for them. We don't have it for Lynnwood, so we'll get you their lineup as we go here. But the Meadowdale defense, the two corners, number 5, Malik Braxton, number 25, Blake Jackson. Your safeties are number 1, Nick Neely, and number 24, Stephen Buonto. We'll get to the rest of that lineup here in just a moment. And Andrew Katzenberger being tended to on the sideline right now. He's out. We're going to throw a screen pass to Trung right off the bat along the right side. Trung might have picked up 2 yards, brings up a 2nd and 8 to get you caught up on the rest of that lineup for Meadowdale on defense. Your linebackers, Jimmy Bruders, number 36, Charlie White, number 32, Tyler Ruby, number 40. Your front 4, number 52, Tim Smith, number 99, Garrett Walsh, number 55, CJ Lewis, and number 65, Tiano Tialueve, or as we like to call him, TT.
Nice and simple.
Yeah, nice and simple. And TT is a big fella, as we've called his name a number of times. 6'4", 350-pound junior. Handoff goes up the middle. That is number 34, Mike Kirkman on the carry. Kirkman gets about a yard on the play, brings up 3rd and 7.
We've seen one pass play, and that was a running play by Lynnwood thus far. If they try to do another pass play here on about 3rd and 7, and they need some time for the Cachopo to look downfield, you have to look out. You just mentioned him, Steve. Number 99, Garrett Walsh, 6'3", 245-pound senior. He's got a fantastic rip and a very quick swim move. Doesn't lose a step on either technique to try to get around that tackle. And that's the main guy that Cachopo has to look for on that defensive line.
And Garrett Walsh was an all-league player last year as a junior, and he just seems to get better. You have your hands full if you're trying to block number 99. He seems to be all over the field and usually ends up wherever the ball is as a penalty marker flies from the back judge. And we get a delay of game called against Lynnwood. 3rd and 7 just became 3rd and 12.
If they do elect to try to throw right here, look from the Cachopo's main target is number 25, Richard Truong, or also Carson Horner. Truong is on the far side of the field, and I believe Horner's the near side.
So here comes the 3rd and 12. Justin Cachopo is your starting quarterback. Richard Truong in motion. Cachopo looks downfield. He's going to throw to Truong out in the flat. Catches the ball in the 16-yard line. Gets ahead to the 21 where Charlie White forces him out of bounds. A gain of only 3 yards. That's going to bring up a 4th and 9 for Lynnwood.
It wasn't a bad idea to just get the ball out of your hands, try to get into a playmaker, see if you can get your offense progressing downfield and possibly get close to the first down marker. But he just let it go a little too early as well. Truong only about 3 yards downfield. Get him a little bit further down, away from the defender, so he can at least catch the football, turn, and try to make a move downfield.
Malik Braxton, always dangerous, set to return this one. He stands at his own 47-yard line. Carson Horner, I've seen him do a little bit of everything today, including get injured and come back into the game. He's set to punt, stands at his 7-yard line. Takes the snap, gets it off. Very wisely kicks it away from Braxton. The ball's going to bounce at the 44. Braxton's going to take it on a hop and run right down the sideline. Finally goes out of bounds, but not until he gets it all the way to the 28-yard line. 16-yard return for Malik Braxton, and you try to keep it out of his hands, and he still manages to pick it up and make something out of what was looking to be nothing.
Just got a perfect bounce off the turf, was able to run into it. He had one block downfield, and after that he just went out of bounds. Steve, I think the winner of this game is going to come down to time of possession and obviously where you begin your drive. And right now, Meadowdale's in prime position and already within scoring distance.
2 backs there behind your quarterback. Tingstead takes the snap, hands off to Spillum. Spillum finds some room up the middle. He's got a first down and more as he finally goes down at around the 12-yard line. We'll call that a gain of 16 and a Meadowdale first down.
Right guard Spencer Stark had a combo block with the center on the defensive tackle for Lynnwood. Right after that, it was easy. The center took him all the way, drove him back downfield. So Stark went up to middle linebacker Andrew Katzenberger, blocked him, turned him away from Spillum, running right behind him. Nice play call on first down. Nice job by the offensive line to get up to the second level.
7:05 to go here, first quarter. Meadowdale already with a 3-0 lead, and they're looking for more here as they're on the 13-yard line. And we get a timeout. We'll take a quick break right now. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. From Edmonds Stadium, we are being brought to you courtesy of our friends over at Shoreline Community College. Meadowdale Mavericks are ready to go. 6:58 to go here in the first quarter. They already lead 3-0, and they're looking for more. Malik Braxton taking the snap, handing off to Rory Spillum. There's something we don't see very much of. Malik Braxton, we're used to seeing him in the backfield, but not taking the direct snap.
Well, just their version of the Wildcat. You had Tingstad on the near side at the wide receiver position. And then in the backfield, why not put your most dynamic playmakers back there with Spillum and Malik Braxton. Great job, though, by the outside linebacker. I believe it was Richard Churong who kind of cheated in once he realized Tingstad was on the wide receiver position to bring down Braxton.
Or bring down Spillum, actually.
Excuse
hand
me,
off,
I'm
yeah. Spillum this time behind Caleb Tingstead, which we're used to seeing as Braxton now playing in his usual receiver spot. Spillum looking for room out to the left and doesn't find much. Give a lot of credit to number 7, Kevin Wynn, on that play as he initially stacked up Spillum, held him long enough for his teammates to get over there to help, held him to a gain of 3, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 8.
Nguyen just read where the play was going to the far side of the field. Just a simple handoff from Tingstad to Spillum off to the left side. Flowed with it beautifully and came up and made a play.
So big 3rd and 8 coming up here for the Mavericks. They need to get to the 3-yard line for a first down. Tingstead drops back to pass, looking, scrambling out to his right. He's still looking downfield, pulls up. Now he's trying to find room out to the left. He better do something quickly. Throws it across the field. He's got Donnie Evans. Cannot make the catch. Great effort by both Tingstead and Evans. Tingstead had to throw that ball almost halfway across the field, across his body, and downfield 20 yards. And he almost completed that one in the end zone to Donnie Evans.
Tingstad just trying to buy some time until the last possible second. Had a couple different options. That Charlie White, Lynnwood defense completely lost where he was. He was wide open at about the 2-yard line, but ultimately falling incomplete here as they try for another field goal.
Brett Schaefer on for the second time tonight. Hit a 44-yarder on their last drive. This one a bit closer. It's going to be from 28 yards out. Tingstead takes the snap. The ball is down. The kick is up. And the kick is good. 5:23 to go here in the first quarter. 2 Brett Schaefer field goals are the difference. Meadowdale 6, Lynnwood 0. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And Welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network, brought to you tonight by Shoreline Community College. Brett Schaefer ready to kick off one more time as he's put his Meadowdale Mavericks ahead 6-0 thanks to 2 field goals tonight. A 44-yarder earlier to open up the scoring, and then a 28-yarder. And as if kicking field goals isn't enough, Mr. Schaefer does a very nice job of putting the ball out of the end zone again. And for the second time tonight, Lynnwood will start from their own 20-yard line.
And, Steve, I don't know if they mainly just want to preserve Andrew Katzenberger early on in this game, just to mainly play one side of the ball on defense. But once again, on their second drive, he's still on the sideline, and we're probably going to see Richard Truong come out of the backfield once again.
Well, and Richard Truong is more of a receiver type. I know they lined him up in the backfield and put him in motion earlier. I have a feeling we might see more of Kirkman. And as I say that, they hand off to Truong, so maybe they've made a change this week, as he's usually a wide receiver, or has been most of the season. And this time Truong tries to find some space out to the left, doesn't get much, and might have picked up 2 or 3 yards, and that's where they'll spot him. And often, we know that there has been an injury issue with Katzenberger. We saw him being tended to on the sideline at the trainer's table when Lynnwood came out for their first possession. And if he is, in fact, dealing with some sort of an injury, that might just be limiting him to defense tonight.
Yeah, and obviously when Braxton and Spillum are at their most dangerous is on the offensive side of the ball. So you want your best player and athlete at the middle linebacker position to be fresh the entire night. 2nd and 7 coming up. Cachopo in shotgun formation. Hands off to Truong once again. Truong looking for room in the middle. Found a little bit, but not much. Charlie White, Jimmy Bruders, and it looks like Garrett Walsh all in on the tackle, holding Truong to only a gain of maybe 2. We'll call it 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 coming up here for Lynnwood. Just that size on the defensive line for the Meadowdale Mavericks. Number 52, Timothy Smith, 6'2", 230. Garrett Walsh, as we mentioned before, 6'3", 245. Number 55, C.J. Lewis, 5'8", 210. They got a lot of size, but that just means you need to have 2 blockers on those defensive tackles, defensive ends, to try to get that runner up there quickly and get him free. Yeah, Lynnwood needs to get to the 30 on this play. Lucas Youngman in motion. Fake the handoff. They're going to throw it. Backwards pass. That's a live ball, guys. And nobody's picking it up, and finally Truong gets on it. You've got to recognize when that ball is passed backwards, and boy, Meadowdale had about 2 or 3 opportunities. Give Carson Horner, I believe, credit for finally coming over and grabbing that ball. Give the referees credit, too. They swallowed their whistles. They knew that it was a live ball, and they weren't going to say anything until one of the players made a move. Unfortunately, if you're a Lynnwood Royal, you're a little disappointed because you just lost 3 yards and you're going to punt. The flip side of that is that you're happy Meadowdale's not taking the ball over on their own 20. Braxton back to receive this punt. He stands at his own 48-yard line. Horner with the kick off the side of his foot. This one's going to hit at the 40, only a 20-yard punt, and rolls back to the 43. That was a 21-yard kick, and Meadowdale's going to take over 43 yards away from the end zone. Look for them to just continually hand the ball off to Spillum. Those linebackers for Lynnwood continually need to flow with the football to try to keep those guys back inside where a majority of the defenders are flowing from. But we have yet to see Tingstad throw it downfield to Charlie White and Malik Braxton. So if you're corner and free safety, keep those guys in front of you and don't lose with their whereabouts on the football field. Okay, bringing you the next play here, and we'll try to get you the Lynnwood lineup here in a moment. As we mentioned earlier, Meadowdale's coaching staff gave us a lineup. Didn't get one from Lynnwood, but we'll try to get you caught up here as we go. Had both middle linebackers for Lynnwood. Katzenberger blitzing right up in the middle. But it was a nice job of plugging up those holes and not letting Spillum get around. He's able to get through into the backfield. And right there, the patience took a little too long, and the defensive ends were able to fly upfield. So get you some of those players in here right now as we're looking out there. Lynnwood, number 73, Will Eddington out there right now. Lucas Youngman, number 44, is also on the line. At number 58, Joe McKay, who had a huge game the last time we called one of these broadcasts. And then Harris Kuduk, number 50, is also on the line. I want to also mention number 67, Jacek Yosef, lined up out there. Your secondary right now, Carson Horner playing one of the corner positions. Number 7, Kevin Wynn playing the other. Richard Truong at the safety spot.
Trung was our player of the game just a couple of weeks ago in that 15-7 win over Interlake, a game in which he had 2 fourth-quarter interceptions. Number 34, Mike Kirkman, playing one of the linebacker positions right now. And, of course, Andrew Katzenberger also in there at his middle linebacker position. Malik Braxton goes in motion. Give him the ball. He runs to the left. Can't find anything. Looks to run back to the right. Breaks away from the initial group of tacklers and is not going too far. Youngman, Katzenberger, all in on the stop. Will Eddington also doing a nice job of making sure that Braxton wasn't able to get up the field. And Mavericks losing 3 on the play.
Sorry, Steve. Defensive end near side, Youngman saw that the fly sweep was going to the other side of the field, but stayed home, which was the most important thing. Malik Braxton saw him, had to turn it back upfield where that's where Katzenberger was. Nice job playing fundamental discipline football.
Here comes the next play. Tingstead dropping back to pass, looking. Can't find anything just quite yet. He's being chased by Youngman and finally just throws it away down the field. Give number 44, Lucas Youngman, a lot of credit, applying the pressure and forcing Tingstead to throw that one away.
Applied the pressure. He got the quarterback to kind of go outside of the pocket, flow in the near side, and gave him pressure all the way down. Nice job by Tingstead. Tried to throw it downfield, try to get something out of nothing. But by that point, the sideline helped out Youngman and the Lynnwood Royals as they have to settle the punt.
Trung drops back one more time. And we get whistles here. Mentioned a couple other players that we didn't get to on the defensive side of things. Aaron Gaines, number 60, your starting defensive tackle out there. And also number 57, Aaron Riles, junior linebacker, playing very well for Lynnwood. This is a Lynnwood defense that has had an outstanding season thus far. Really kept their team in quite a few games. They're 3-2, but you take the Shorecrest game out of the equation, and this is an offense that struggled for the most part this year. Scored 15 against Interlake, but 7 of those came on a botched punt by Interlake, and the other 3 games they've only scored 6. Trung takes that one on a bounce at the 17-yard line, looks for room outside and can't find much as number 25, Blake Jackson, steps up to make the tackle. And Lynnwood, once again, will take over on their own 20-yard line.
Let's see if Lynnwood tries to get something downfield, tries to see how that offensive line, if they can pass block for a longer period of time than just a quick 5-yard hitch route, comeback route for the receiver back to the quarterback, or just a swing route at the running back out of the backfield. Try to get something downfield, see if you can kind of open it up that way, because I don't know if they're going to be able to rely on short intermediate passes or a running game tonight.
Let's see what we can do here. They come on to the offensive side of things for the 3rd time this evening. 58 seconds to go in the quarter. They still trail 6-0. Cachopo sends Trung in motion, takes the snap, rolls out to his right. He's going to fire the ball down the field. Carson Horner was the intended receiver. Couldn't quite get it, and we get a late penalty there, as I think one of the Meadowdale defensive players might have made contact after the play, and this one might be a 15-yarder.
But not a bad job to try to get your quarterback out of the pocket, a sprint out to the right, try to find one of your guys downfield. It got tipped, and I believe Carson Horner just lost where the football was, and then he got popped by the free safety out there by Meadowdale, and then his retaliation might have been what the penalty was, Steve.
So referees are still conferencing on this one right now. Wait to see what the call is. We alluded to this earlier tonight. We thought this might be somewhat of a defensive battle, and through almost 12 minutes of play, it has been. We're 52 seconds away from this quarter coming to an end, and we've yet to see a touchdown. 2 Brett Schaefer field goals are the difference in this game right now. And sure enough, they did call they called a personal foul, but they called it against Lynnwood. So apparently Carson Horner might have done a little retaliation, and the referees, that was what they saw, and they were going to call that. It's going to push it half the distance to the goal line, which means it's going to push it back 10 yards and give Lynnwood a 2nd and 20 at their own 10. Here come the Royals right now. Richard Trung running out to the right, finds a little space, picks up 5 yards where he's finally brought down. That will bring up a 3rd and 15.
Number 32, Charlie White, outside linebacker, flowed with the play, came up out of that position. The slot and outside receiver for Lynnwood have to start getting some blocks down. They're not blocking the safety that's coming up from the secondary or the corners. They're able to just to fly free on absolutely any running play, and then those linebackers also in there as well. So you got to try to get some blocks on some guys to try to free up your runners and get something going downfield.
By the way, that was a nice tackle pull on that play by number 50, Joe McKay. Or I'm sorry, that's Harris Cuddick, who was pulling from the left tackle position on that last play. Did a nice job to give Trung an extra block. Kirkman catches a screen pass. Doesn't find much there, though, as he might have picked up a yard on the play. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 14. Just to mention some of these offensive linemen in for Lynnwood right now. It's a lot of the same guys on defense as they are not platooning much. It is number 65, Craig Knock. Number 52 is your center. That's Cason Salvetti. Number 73, Will Eddington. Number 58, Joe McKay. Number 50, Harris Cuddick, who we just mentioned. And number 57, Aaron Riles. And we have come to the end of the first quarter of play with our score, Meadowdale 6, Lynnwood 0. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
And welcome back to Edmond Stadium through one quarter of play. Meadowdale 6, Lynnwood 0. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network, brought to you tonight by our friends over at Shoreline Community College. Lynnwood on to punt once again. Carson Horner catches the ball, gets off a much better kick this time as Braxton has to backpedal to his own 46. Catches the ball there, finds some space along the right. He's already up to the 40, looking for the sideline, and he's still going to the 15, cuts it back. Touchdown, Meadowdale. However, they're going to say he stepped out of bounds, and there's a penalty marker down. Boy, Malik Braxton cannot catch a break. This guy had a 65-yard run called back last week and a 55-yard punt return. Tonight, another 55-yard punt return, and once again, he gets into the end zone, but it doesn't count.
One of the probably the most dynamic kick returner in Wesco. And it kind of looks as though whenever he gets the football and he's about to make a return back towards the end zone, the defense just stops and wants to watch him run because it's awesome. He's shifty. He's got enough speed to get to the outside and take it up the sideline. That time it happened, but got to go backwards.
And it looks a little effortless when he does it, too. He is amazing. He is not a bad football player at all. So they did call a block in the back. However, it was further downfield, so he does get some of that yardage. The ball ending up at the 45-yard line of Lynnwood, which is where Meadowdale will take over this possession, leading 6-0 right now. Tingstead with Paul Savchuk and Rory Spillum in the backfield with him. He's going to hand off to Spillum. Spillum running to the right. Finds a little bit of space before he gets to that sideline. Does a nice job to cut it back to pick up an extra yard or two. We're going to spot him down just outside the 40-yard line. A gain of 4 brings up 2nd and 6 for the Mavericks.
We talk about Charlie White typically being the tight end who just mainly gets catches downfield, makes plays for his quarterback. That time, though, was able to block the defensive end, turn him, giving Spillum enough room to get outside and get up the field for about a 4-yard pickup.
Here we go, 11-11 left on the clock. Spillum finding some room. Started out running off the right tackle, in between the tackle and guard. Finally cuts it back out. Gets ahead to the 37-yard line. A gain of 8 and another Maverick first down.
The defensive tackle on the left side for Lynnwood, number 65, Craig Knock, just a little overeager getting upfield. The right guard for Meadowdale was able to just push him up, leaving a wide open hole, and that's right where Spillum ran.
Roy Spillum takes another handoff, looking for room up the middle and not finding much. Had a couple of guys meet him right there, one of which was Lucas Youngman, and the other one was number 34, Mike Kirkman. It looked as though Aaron Riles might have even been in there to help stop the play initially. Plugging up that middle. It's going to be a no gainer on that carry. Brings up 2nd and 10.
Sophomore Mike Kirkman, you mentioned, number 34, outside linebacker, saw where the play was going, went upfield, went right down the line of scrimmage, and brought Spillum down for no gain. Nice job of reading the play and then fighting down the line of scrimmage.
10-16 to go here, second quarter. Meadowdale 6, Lynnwood 0. Mavericks looking to increase their lead. Tingstead drops back to pass, throws it down to the left. He's got Braxton open, incomplete. Threw it just a little bit behind Malik as he was being covered by Richard Trung. Had a step on Trung. If he's able to, Tingstead that is able to lead Braxton just a little bit, that might have been a touchdown. Instead, we're looking at 3rd and 10.
Trung was just caught looking inside at the quarterback for too long, letting Braxton get behind him. Tingstead, if you know the guy you're throwing to, the outside receiver, is fast and he can cut out of that break in an instant, you got to get that football out there early so that he doesn't have to turn back, and then it's ended up being short.
3rd and 10 coming up, 10:04 to go in the half. Tingstead looking to pass. He's got Evans down the sideline, incomplete. Just overthrew him, and give Bobby Graham, number 22, a lot of credit as well, as made a nice job of cutting down that opening, and if that ball had been on target, it was going to be very close to see who would have gotten to it first. Brings up a 4th and 10, and it brings up a very interesting situation here for Meadowdale, and it's kind of strange on 4th and 10 on the 34. The defensive team is forced to call a timeout. I thought maybe Meadowdale would call a timeout to try to decide if they want to A, go for it, B, punt, or C, give Schaefer a shot at a 51-yarder, and I think he's got the leg for it. It's a difficult kick, but he's shown that he can get it that far, and I'm still not sure that they may not try the field goal here. We'll wait and see what Meadowdale sends on to the field here in just a moment.
Either that or the head coach, Keontae Bankhead, just making sure that the defensive line does not jump off sides. You don't want Brett Schaefer to have an extra 5 yards closer to the field goal, but it looks like Meadowdale is going to go out there and just punt the football.
Punt the football, or will they? You've got Malik Braxton back there. Braxton always a threat with his legs. Saw him convert a fake punt into a first down last week, and if there is a more dangerous punter in high school football, I'd like to know who it is. Usually your punter isn't the most dynamic player on the field, and in this case, Malik Braxton is. 9:58 to go here in the second quarter. Braxton will, in fact, kick it. Aims that one very nicely down the field. Stephen Buonto down there to stop it, and does so at the 1-yard line. Perfectly executed. Braxton with the kick, Buonto with the stop. We're going to take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
And we are back again at Edmond Stadium. Richard Trung takes the handoff and might have picked up a yard. So they ended up spotting that punt down at the 2-yard line. 32-yard kick by Malik Braxton, and along with his teammate Stephen Buonto, pinning Lynnwood deep in their own territory. They're already down 6-0. The last thing they want to do is turn it over here, or maybe even worse, get a safety. The ball apparently is still spotted at the 2. They're going to say that was a no gain for Trung. 9:15 to go here in the second quarter. Cachopo assessing the defense. Finally takes the snap. It goes over his head. Cachopo wisely grabs it and takes it out of the back of the end zone. A safety. And Meadowdale now with an 8-0 lead, and that punt becomes huge.
Well, when you're backed up against your own end zone, Steve, as you mentioned, you don't want to let anybody through from the defensive side to get through that offensive line easily, or a snap to go over the quarterback's head. The second one happened, the snap went back, and it also looked as though they were doing a stunt with the defensive tackle and Charlie White. Charlie White got through free, so maybe it was going to end up being a safety either way, but worst case scenario just happened for Lynnwood.
And not only do you give up 2 points, but you give up the ball as well, as Lynnwood will kick the ball over to Meadowdale. And I have a feeling number 5 might get his hands on this one once again, as Malik Braxton will be back to return this kick. 9:07 left in the second quarter. Getting ate the hard way, so to speak. 2 field goals and a safety. Not the way you draw it up. You like that craps reference there? Angelo Como picked it up. And Meadowdale with Malik Braxton along with number 1 Nick Neely back to take this kick. And with the safety, you have to kick off from your own 20-yard line, 20 yards back further from where you normally do a kickoff. So Lynnwood presumably should be giving up pretty good field position to the Mavericks. The ball is going to come down to Braxton at the 38-yard line. Braxton looking for room, takes it out to the right, finds a little bit of an opening, finds the sideline. Nice move by Braxton as he eludes one tackler and finally is taken out at the 37-yard line. That was a gain of 25 yards on the kick return, and Meadowdale starts off in great field position.
Let's see if Lynnwood can keep him out of the end zone once again. They did a nice job. Linebackers flowing with the football, not leaving a whole lot of space for either Spillum or Malik Braxton, bringing them down 1-2 guys to the football at a time. Let's see if they can continually do that with 8:57 left in the second quarter.
Yeah, this is a Meadowdale team you do not want to let get too far ahead of you. This becomes a big stop for Lynnwood, or they need a big stop rather, as Spillum trying to find some space and doesn't find much. You have that Lynnwood front 3 or front 4 a credit there on that play as number 58, Big Joe McKay, coming through to make the stop on that one. Holding Spillum to, I was going to say no gain, but it appears as though they might even give him a loss of a yard on that play.
Joe McKay, sorry, Steve, go ahead. Joe McKay, the right defensive tackle, and then the left defensive tackle, number 57, Aaron Riles, came in there from the side. They both kind of pinched Spillum, leaving him at a loss of 1 yard. Nice job with defensive tackles to get to the running back quickly.
And 2nd and 11 coming up. Here comes the blitz. Tingstead throwing deep. He's looking for Donnie Evans. Overthrows him, incomplete. A nice rush coming from Lynnwood on that play. Katzenberger getting to the quarterback first. Had a little help there as Craig Knock was also coming in on the blitz. Brings up 3rd and 11.
Katzenberger realizing it was pass early on, blitzed right in between the center and right guard, getting some pressure on Tingstad, not letting him try to get it downfield to number 10, Donovan Evans. So let's see if they can continually get pressure on that quarterback so he doesn't have to have enough time to get the football downfield.
Tingstead in shotgun formation. He has Harrison White and Donnie Evans lined up to the left. Malik Braxton to the right. Spillum is in the backfield. They hand off to Spillum. Spillum finding some room along the left. Gets to the sideline. He's still going and is finally drilled out of bounds at the 16-yard line. It's a nice tackle by Bobby Graham, but not before Spillum picks up 22 yards and another first down.
And, Steve, I think it's going to be called back. Number 19, Harrison White, the receiver on the near side of the field, was holding number 21, Carson Horner. So that running play might be negated due to the penalty.
And that is, in fact, the call. It is a hold. Meadowdale, who last week we saw them at times be their own worst enemy with penalties, doing it again here as Rory Spillum had plenty of yards for the first down. Instead, Meadowdale's going to look at 3rd down and long one more time.
And it's important now for the secondary of Lynnwood to know where Malik Braxton is out on the football field. Don't let him get behind you and get downfield, and try to get some pressure here on Tingstad. Look for Katzenberger to maybe do a blitz or just a quarterback spy on the starting quarterback, number 6.
So here we go, 3rd down and 11 coming up. Meadowdale needing to get to the 27-yard line for a first down. Tingstead takes the snap, looking downfield. He's got a man open. It's Harrison White. He makes the catch and is brought down at the 5-yard line. The ball comes loose. Are they going to say fumble? Wow, I thought he might have been down. Harrison White coming up with a huge catch. Gets tackled at the 5-yard line, and on his way to the ground, the ball comes loose. Lynnwood recovers it in the end zone for a touchback.
Number 22, the safety on the near side of the field, Bobby Graham, was a little late moving over to get to Harrison White. Right when he got there, though, he was able to bring him down and get the football free. Ball rolling into the end zone. Another Lynnwood Royal able to jump on it. Massive break for Lynnwood, and big breaks the last few times, going against Meadowdale with the penalty and then the fumble.
So Lynnwood somehow staying in this game right now. It's 8-0. They're definitely a bend but don't break team here tonight. Meadowdale has had their opportunities, and they've spent plenty of time on the Lynnwood side of the 50-yard line, and they only have 8 points to show for it so far. Let's see if Lynnwood can capitalize as Cachopo drops back to pass. Picks up the blitz from Walsh, fires it down the field. He's got Trung incomplete, and they're going to call a penalty. Interesting call there. There was 4 players back, 3 of which were Meadowdale. It appeared to me as the 2 number 25s, both Richard Trung and Blake Jackson, got their feet tangled up with one another. I'm not sure that I would have called that, but I could see where, as a referee, you see the contact down the field and you make the call. It's a judgment call.
Well, first of all, going back to just the execution of the play, great job by the offensive line giving time for Cachopo. He had to step up into the pocket, but that was just to give himself a little bit more space to deliver the football. I thought it was a little overthrown, but it looked as though that it could have been also that they waved it off.
They're going to wave it off. I think that's a good non-call. I mean, again, I understand that you need to, if you're a defensive back, you need to play the ball a little bit, and at times you're going to make contact. But in that case, really, Jackson was looking up at the ball, and I think Trung and Jackson just kind of ran into the same space at the same time, and collisions happen.
Well, when you throw the football to one of your guys who's surrounded by multiple defenders, you're just kind of hoping that sort of situation works out. So it was a nice job by the refs to waive it.
So 2nd and 10 coming up for Lynnwood at their own 20. They trail 8-0 with 7:39 to go here in the second quarter. Richard Trung and Mike Kirkman once again in the backfield. Cachopo sending Trung in motion. Takes the snap, looking down the field. He's getting blitzed, and he is going to go down. Tim Smith wraps him up. They're going to say that forward progress was down at the 10-yard line, a loss of 10 yards. It's going to bring up a big 3rd and 20 coming up for the Royals, who seem to be going the wrong way tonight when they're on offense.
Smith was in there, and also Garrett Walsh was the defensive end on the far side of the field that kind of got his pressure to start going towards Smith's side. With that kind of rush by the Meadowdale Mavericks, with their size and athleticism, getting upfield, getting pressure on Cachopo, maybe you try to go with the screen pass to try to just let your offensive line, let them go, and then get downfield.
So the clock continues to run here, 6:53 to go in the second quarter. Lynnwood looking at a 3rd and 20 right now. Cachopo takes the snap, throw it out to Bobby Graham out in the flat. Graham is not able to get through as Blake Jackson steps up and tackles Graham almost immediately. Graham picks up a yard on the play, and once again, we are going to see the Lynnwood punt team come onto the field.
Interesting play call. Not a bad idea. Get out of your quarterback's hands, get it to a playmaker, and let him try to find some space and create something. But when you throw it to him, and he's got 2 Meadowdale Mavericks right there that are kind of corralled him in without any space, you're not going to make any progression down the field. Some interesting play call there by Keontae Bankhead.
Carson Horner back to punt one more time. Braxton back to receive the punt. Stands at his own 44-yard line. That ball was almost blocked. It's going to take a bounce at the 45, and it's going to give Braxton plenty of space to return this. He takes it at his own 46. Looks to cut back to the right side of the field. He's got some blockers ahead of him. He gets to the 30-yard line, and he's still going to the 15, the 10. Touchdown, Malik Braxton. Touchdown, Mavericks.
Steve, it is never good to give him about 20 yards to the closest defender on Lynnwood trying to come down and tackle him. But then when you give him some blockers out in front, that's just a disaster. He was able to bring it out, go to the far side of the field, go a little left, and then cut it back to the right. And by that time, all speed by Malik Braxton as he crossed into the touchdown.
Well, and Carson Horner did the right thing. I think he was intending to punt it to where Braxton couldn't return it. Generally speaking, if you punt the ball and you hit the turf and it goes an extra 10 yards, you think that's to your advantage. However, when Malik Braxton's the returner, you just give him that much more space. So I don't think that Horner was hoping that ball was going to go as far downfield as it did, and consequently Braxton takes it 55 yards to the house, and Meadowdale increases their lead to 15-0 with 5:41 to go here in the second quarter. We're going to take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students, to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
Welcome back to Edmond Stadium. Malik Braxton's 55-yard punt return, giving Meadowdale a 15-0 lead here in the second quarter. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network, brought to you tonight by our friends over at Shoreline Community College. Brett Schaefer on to kickoff once again. This time he's going to give Lynnwood a chance to return it as it bounces at the 11. That's a live football. And what a hit as number 28, Colby Sesseneth, steps up to hit the returner, which I believe was Richard Trung. Trung picked up about 4 yards on that play, but more importantly, Trung made sure that he possessed the football and didn't give Meadowdale a chance to jump on what was a live football.
And once again, Lynnwood's offense is going out there on the field, and we have yet to see Andrew Katzenberg out there, a running back, probably their best athlete at the position and on the offensive side of the football. And we've seen what they can do without him out there, and it hasn't been much. You have to wonder how long Keontae Bankhead is going to keep his most dynamic runner on the sideline when his team goes out there on offense.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, I don't think it's a matter of him choosing to do that right now. I think that's more a matter of injury. I'm not sure exactly what he's dealing with, but it's not good. As Trung looking for some space out to the right. I want to say it might have been his shoulder, but I'm not positive on that. But I know a couple weeks ago when we did one of their games, he carried the ball a few times in the first quarter and looked good doing it. But then I think the injury started acting up a little bit, and he did not go back in on offense until the fourth quarter, and even then it was fairly ineffective. I think if Katzenberger could be on that field right now, I think he would be. Did score a long touchdown on a screen pass last week against Edmonds Woodway, but again, I think he's somewhat limited in what he can and can't do right now, and that's why he's standing next to the coaching staff when Lynnwood is on the field offensively. 2nd and 6 as penalty markers fly all over the place. And false start by Lynnwood. Lynnwood picks up 4 yards, and they finally get something positive going, and then they send themselves backwards.
A little interesting. It didn't even look as though the offense got set, and then the false start was called. But just go back on this Katzenberger point one more time, Steve. Just the difference in size. Trung, 5'10", $165. Katzenberger, 6'2", 220. So massive height and size difference going through that line of scrimmage. That's just the difference of playmaking ability that they have.
Also noticing that Alton Hammond is in street clothes tonight, the sophomore who was getting quite a few carries early on in the season, who also provides them with some size. And Cachopo has nowhere to go with that football, as that is a sack courtesy of a few different players. Number 52, Tim Smith, in there as well as number 99, Garrett Walsh. Whole slew of Meadowdale players meeting back at the quarterback. It's going to bring up a 3rd and very long right now, as they've yet to change the scoreboard. But as I do the quick math out here, it looks like about 18 yards. 3rd and 18. 7-yard loss on that play. Lynnwood with the ball at their own 8-yard line right now, and this Lynnwood offense has just been sputtering all night long.
Well, they're not giving Cachopo any time, and the offensive line can't get up, even again block the defensive ends, defensive tackles. They got to try to open something up downfield to see if that opens up their offense.
And with 4 minutes to go, we have another penalty flag thrown, and it appears as though it's going to be another false start against Lynnwood, and it is. We don't have any stats up here tonight. We're going to try to get you some at halftime, but boy, it's not looking good if you're a Lynnwood offensive coach or coordinator for that matter. Cannot imagine it's going to be very pretty when we see those stats at halftime.
No, and just the way that where they are starting on the field for their drives too, they've been backed up against their own end zone, whereas Meadowdale, with Malik Braxton's help, has gotten on the other side of the 50.
Cachopo dropping back to pass. He's in his own end zone. He better get out, and finally scrambles away before he's thrown to the turf. That was number 40, Tyler Ruby, slamming Cachopo hard down to the ground. Cachopo picks up a yard on the play, and that's going to bring up a 4th and 21. And Lynnwood, once again, I sound like a broken record after a while, but Carson Horner's into punt one more time.
Well, that time Garrett Walsh was working on the right offensive tackle. Quick swim move, immediately getting pressure on Cachopo, whereas he had to step up, eluded another tackler, and was ultimately brought down. But once again, no time given for their quarterback to even look downfield.
2:58 showing on the clock right now. Horner gets off a wobbly punt. It's going to land at the 37-yard line. Braxton takes it at the 44, starts running up the field and cuts back over to the right. No, shifts back to the left again and finds some space. He's to the 25. Finally goes out of bounds at the 24-yard line. The guy is fun to watch, isn't he?
Yeah, the great thing about watching him run with the football is that the patience he has. He'll try going to the right, sees nothing is there, will go back to the left, and he'll do that a couple of times even on that kick return before ultimately stepping out of bounds. And most importantly, he doesn't take any hits or do anything like that. He stays healthy so that he's utilized at all times throughout the game.
Now mark him out at the 25-yard line. 2:42 to go here in the first half. Meadowdale with plenty of time. Tingstead in shotgun formation. He's going to hand this one to Spillum. Spillum looking for something on the left. Penalty marker is thrown as Spillum cuts it back. He's still going as he finally gets pushed out at the 18-yard line. A nice effort by Spillum. However, that one might be coming back.
And just arm tackling by Lynnwood right there. You had number 52 from Meadowdale out there.
Tim Smith.
You had Charlie White making blocks. Might have been a holding on one of those guys. But then Lynnwood just arm tackles. They should have been dropped back for a loss even without this penalty. Got to start flying to the football and bringing the runner down, or else he will continually go downfield like Spillum just did, picking up a couple extra yards after contact.
So the penalty is, in fact, against Meadowdale. The referees are going to spot this one at the 35-yard line. It's going to bring up a 1st and 20. Meadowdale, 15 points on the board. However, they've yet to score an offensive touchdown tonight. Those 15 points are courtesy of 2 Brett Schaefer field goals, a safety on a botched snap by Lynnwood's offense, and a 55-yard punt return by Malik Braxton. So on one hand, the Mavericks are feeling pretty good about pitching the shutout, but on the other, I'm sure they want to see something offensively as they throw the ball over to Braxton, incomplete. Nice job by Richard Trung to get over there and defend the play. Interesting play there as Meadowdale lined up on their own left hash. Tingstead rolling out a little bit to the left and had to throw all the way across the field, trying to complete that one, and that ball just floated a little too high. And unfortunately for Meadowdale, and fortunately for Lynnwood, it's an incompletion.
We had his tight end on the right side of the offensive line. Charlie White just kind of did a 5-yard out route, decided to go downfield to Malik Braxton, who left the corner in his dust. But nice job by Trong to get over there quickly and match the football at its highest point.
2nd and 20 coming up. Fakes the handoff to Spillum. Throws back across. That's number 32, Charlie White. Charlie White catching the screen. He eludes a couple of tacklers. Another penalty flag is thrown as White fights his way down to the 14. A gain of 21 and a first down if it stands. However, that yellow flag back on the 29 is more than likely going to be called against the Mavericks. So that is in an area where we generally get offensive penalties.
It's either an offensive penalty, holding.
Meadowdale trying to make this game a little more interesting anyway, as they almost refuse to want to pull away right now.
Well, and also just if they come back to that play, it's a great job of utilizing all your weapons out there on offense. But yeah, you get a couple penalties in there, you get a couple of loss of downs. I mean, that offense for Lynnwood can't do anything at all, so they're relying on their defense. Meadowdale's just kind of got to sure up their game a little bit, play a little bit more disciplined, and Steve, they should be able to run away with this game right before half.
2nd and 24 at the 39-yard line. 2:07 showing on the clock. Meadowdale already up 15-0 and looking for more. Tingstad rolling out to the right, looking downfield, fires it to Malik Braxton, who made a nice sliding catch. Braxton catching that ball at the 27-yard line, a gain of 12. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 12 for the Mavericks.
Nice job by Tingstad. Buy a little time. Look out there for Malik Braxton. And he's done everything tonight from offense to special teams, kick returning. And that time, great effort, sliding, making sure he caught the football and not letting it bounce to the turf.
Keeps that clock moving as well as it's now showing 1:29 to go in the half. 3rd and 12 coming up for the Mavericks. Tingstad dropping back to pass. He's getting blitzed by Katzenberger. He scrambles out of it, and he's going to take off running and does a great job to pick up a first down and then some. Tingstad finding enough room to get by that first down marker. And they spot him down at around the 11-yard line. We'll call that a 16-yard gain and a big Meadowdale first down.
Tingstad making something out of nothing. And Steve, on the roster, he's listed as a tight end linebacker. He's 6'2", 225 out there playing quarterback. So when he's running downfield, that is a massive person you have to bring down. Lynnwood trying to tackle him up high. You got to tackle him low or get him out of bounds.
Moves pretty well for a 6'2", 225. And here comes Rory Spillum. Spillum cutting back into the middle. Gets brought down at the 5-yard line. It's going to bring up a second. We'll call it about 3.
Meadowdale utilizing the clock right now, seeing that they're up by 15 with about 55 seconds left here in the second quarter, running the football, getting closer and closer to the end zone so that they can score and not let Lynnwood get the football back before half.
So 44 seconds to go here. Clock is continuing to run. Meadowdale looking for more. They've already got 15 points. Tingstad takes the snap, hands it to Spillum. Spillum looking for room up the middle. Finds it and finds the end zone. Touchdown, Mavericks. Rory Spillum from 6 yards out, putting the Mavericks up 21-0 with a pending PAT. Oh, by the way, this is the second game we've broadcasted tonight on the Sound Alive Sports Network. Do you know what the score was at halftime of the first game?
I do not.
It was 22-0, which is exactly the same score that this game will be in a minute if Brett Schaefer can hit the extra point. And oh, by the way, the team that had 0 at halftime
Not like Terrace
came back to win the game. Does Lynnwood have it in them? We'll find out. The kick is down. The kick is up. And the kick is good. 28 seconds left in the half. Meadowdale 22, Lynnwood 0. We're going to take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mount Lake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
$22-0, Meadowdale with the lead. 28 seconds to go in the half, and here comes the kickoff. Richard Trung takes it on the 15. Doesn't find much room. He gets up to the 28-yard line where he is met by number 28, Colby Sasoneth. Sasoneth making his second straight tackle on a kickoff. And we're going to have a referee's timeout as Richard Trung is still on the turf. Trung might have gotten the wind knocked out of him a little bit there as he is moving around there a little bit. While they tend to him, we'll take another quick break here. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
The Allstate Insurance Agency of Jeff Smar is a proud sponsor of Wesco Athletics. Located in Northwest Bothell, Jeff's office services many areas including Lynnwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mill Creek. Contact Jeff for a quote at 425-949-7103 or email jeffsmar@allstate.com. And we are back again as Richard Trung still on the turf. Good news is we did see movement as Trung was rolling around a bit. Couldn't tell exactly where the injury was, but he is now sitting up and getting onto his feet, which is always a good sign. Trung, a good kid. We had a chance to interview him after the Interlake victory a couple weeks ago. As we mentioned earlier, a game in which he had 2 interceptions late in that game to help secure that victory. At the time, giving Lynnwood their 3rd win of the year. Trung holding his stomach a little bit there as he might have taken a shot on the kickoff return.
This is the second Lynnwood guy we've seen get up and hold his stomach. Carson Horner did that in the first quarter.
And this will make things interesting, as we've already mentioned. Katzenberger has not been in on offense yet tonight. Alton Hammond out with an injury. He's in street clothes on the sideline. You still have Mike Kirkman back there, and I think he's the one that will probably see this carry, and sure enough he does. Kirkman looking for a little space in the middle. Doesn't find much. Might have gotten a yard as that clock continues to run, and I have a feeling Lynnwood might just let it expire as we're down to 11 seconds right now. There's a very good chance that that was the last play of the half. Cachopo runs it back in, but with 1 second showing and now 000, we have come to the end of a first half dominated by the Meadowdale Mavericks. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you our Action Jackson Plumbing halftime report, get you some stats, and entertain you in the process, hopefully. Steve, get your singing vocal cords ready and your dancing shoes on. You might be our entertainment for the night. We're going to take a break right now. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, Drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
The Allstate Insurance Agency of Jeff Smar is a proud sponsor of Wesco Athletics. Located in Northwest Bothell, Jeff's office services many areas including Lynnwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mill Creek. Contact Jeff for a quote at 425-949-7103 or email jeffsmar@allstate.com.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network, live at Edmonds Stadium with your score at halftime. Meadowdale 22, Lynnwood 0. You are watching the Action Jackson Plumbing halftime report. And if there is a silver lining, or if you want to take something positive, I might be stretching this one a bit, but as I mentioned right at the end of the second quarter, this is the second game we've broadcasted tonight. The first game was Mount Lake Terrace versus Glacier Peak. The score at halftime was Glacier Peak 22, Mount Lake Terrace 0. The exact same score that we have here at halftime right now. Mount Lake Terrace came back to win that game 33-32. The flip side is that Lynnwood's not showing a lot of offense right now, so if they're going to come back and make this a game and have a chance of winning, they have to do better than they did in the first half. And the stats don't lie. It has not been pretty. The Lynnwood Royals with 8 yards of total offense in the first half. Fortunately for them, their defense is keeping them in this game. Meadowdale with only 129 yards of offense. And unofficially, we have Meadowdale leading the first down battle 3-0. So again, these are unofficial stats, but we have the two teams combining for 3 first downs. So if you like high-octane offense, if you enjoyed that California-Washington State game a couple weeks ago or last week, you're not getting it here yet tonight. Hopefully that'll happen in the second half, and you might get a little bit more. But again, 129 yards for Meadowdale, 8 for Lynnwood. Meadowdale right now being led by Rory Spillum on the ground. He's got 8 carries for 41 yards. Malik Braxton through the air. He has 2 catches for 46 yards. And oh, by the way, he also has a 55-yard punt return for a touchdown. Not a lot of offense from Lynnwood. Richard Trung with 5 carries for 15 yards. Leading the way for Lynnwood. Trung also is leading Lynnwood with 3 yards receiving. They've only passed for 4 yards total. So again, not exactly what you were hoping for if you are a Lynnwood Royal fan. But if there is one silver lining, your defense is making this a little bit of a closer game than it could easily have been in the first half. And if you're Meadowdale, I'm sure the coaching staff down there, they're happy with the 22-point lead. But they can't be all that excited with the way their offense has looked so far tonight either. So both teams trying to get a little more offensive productivity going in the second half. We'll see if either one can get going. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come right back and get you ready for the third quarter. Again, your score at halftime at Meadowdale 22, Lynnwood 0. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. Our halftime show once again being brought to you by Action Jackson Plumbing.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And we are back again. I'm going to turn on the outside mic right now as the Lynnwood senior cheerleaders are being honored tonight. We'll let you listen in on some of that. Is once again your halftime score, 22-0 Meadowdale. Okay, and we are back again on the Sound Alive Sports Network. We're doing this on the fly. I just grabbed somebody that was walking by us here. What is your name and what school are you with?
My name is Alex Manos, and I'm with Lynnwood High School.
So, Alex, what were we just watching here? As we just noticed, both schools were stealing the other school's mascot, and one of the mascots apparently is still being held captive. What exactly are we watching here right now?
Right now we had a senior class fundraiser with Meadowdale and Lynnwood High School. And it was about raising money for prom, and they teamed up with the FCCLAs of both schools. And what happened was the school that could raise the most money would get to set their mascot free at halftime, and Meadowdale beat us there. So, it was, tough loss, but in the end, it was all for senior class proms, and so we both won, I guess.
So do you know how much money was raised for either school, or about how much money was raised?
It was about total for proms combined. Each prom got about $503, which, not bad.
Not bad. And now, what were the methods of raising money? What did you guys do to raise these funds?
Methods of raising money: we would parade around our mascot in the jail during lunches, and be like, please save our mascot. So, and that's really, we got a lot of donations, which was really great to see. The school kind of came together and really pitched in and really closed the gap, which was awesome.
And I'm looking down at your mascot, who is apparently in jail for the rest of the night. What exactly is your mascot down there, or who is that?
Well, our mascot's actually sick tonight, so we had to have our ASB president, Brandon Pell,
Oh, that's
his
Brandon
place.
in there. Okay, so Brandon is going to be in that jail right behind the Meadowdale cheerleaders for the rest of the game? Is that?
I believe until the end of the third quarter, then they can choose to release him if they think he's served his term.
So Brandon Pell will be serving his term, and we'll put that on camera here in a little bit. But again, it's a fun thing, and it's for a good cause. For prom. Prom's always a good cause, right?
Oh yeah.
So we appreciate you coming up here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I hope your football team does a little bit better in the second half as well. It's been a rough night so far, and not only for them, but now for Brandon, who's has to endure a little more torture by watching the game from a jail cell. That's not good.
Yeah. Fingers crossed for Lynnwood.
There we go. So we'll take a real quick break, and when we come back, we'll get the third quarter of action underway. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
All right, thank you.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back again to the Sound Alive Sports Network. That was our Action Jackson Plumbing halftime show, and I'm sure Action Jackson enjoyed every single moment of that. Riveting halftime as we got you caught up on all three first downs of yardage and stats, and we did have a fun little interview there at the end as Alex Manos, one of the seniors at Lynnwood, came on to talk to us about prom. And unfortunately for Lynnwood's ASB president, Brandon Pell, he is forced to watch the game along the track in a makeshift jail cell right behind the Meadowdale cheerleaders. He might not mind the part about the Meadowdale cheerleaders, but he is confined to that little space there because of the fact that Lynnwood did not raise as much money as Meadowdale in a fundraiser challenge that raised money for both schools' proms. Now, I mean, think about it. Your football team has 8 yards of offense in the first half. It's tough enough watching from up in the stands. Now you've got to watch it in a jail cell. So if Lynnwood can come alive, Brandon's got excellent seats. If not, he's going to have to endure that for at least a quarter. Kick return comes out to the 20-yard line. And once again, another Lynnwood player slow to get up. on the return. It was number 34, Mike Kirkman, who finally does get to his feet. Carson Horner on the run back.
Let's see if Lynnwood is able to do something. Try to maybe get their runners out to the outside, get it away from that interior defensive line of Meadowdale and away from those linebackers. Try to get them maybe a nice solid block on the corner, get up to the free safety, and try to get something going. They need to get some sort of rhythm and success going on offense here early on this opening drive of the second half.
Yeah, Carson Horner split out wide to the right. Lucas Youngman right inside him. They're going to send Kirkman in motion. Cachopo all by himself in the backfield. Rolls out to the right. He's looking downfield. He's going to throw deep. He's got Carson Horner incomplete as he overfires him by a good 10 yards. Blake Jackson with the nice coverage. And if you are Lynnwood and you are Keontae Bankhead, your football team has 8 yards of total offense in the first half. What are you saying to these guys in the locker room? Or what can you say to these guys?
Well, if they're watching the first half of the first game and then watching the second half as well and just seeing the comeback that Mount Lake Terrace had, just let them know you still got another half of football at 0-0. If you're able to score 3 touchdowns, you bring it within 1, maybe get a 2-point conversion in there. If the game is far from being over, they just have to get something going on offense, maybe a big turnover on defense that leads to a touchdown, but try to get some sort of momentum on their side.
So Justin Cachopo, the senior quarterback, brings his team up to the line of scrimmage one more time. Mike Kirkman back there with him. We did confirm that Andrew Katzenberger's injury is a shoulder injury, so he is limited to defense only as Cachopo is going to roll out to the right once again, looking downfield, finally tucks it away and takes off running. Nice job by Justin to pick up a few extra yards there as he gets out of bounds at the 26-yard line, a gain of 5, and that will bring up a 3rd and 5.
Garrett Walsh, and then also in there on the pressure was number 52, Timothy Smith for the Mavericks, just trying to get Cachopo out of the pocket, get him uncomfortable. He could have thrown it to number 44, Lucas Youngman, but decided to just keep it and pick up what he could. Nice solid 5-yard pickup. Let's see if they can get a first down.
So 3rd and 5, 26-yard line, 11:38 showing in the third quarter. Lynnwood still looking for their first down of the night. They need to get to the 31-yard line to do so. Cachopo eludes one would-be tackler, finally takes off running, and does not get very far as Charlie White steps up and stops him at the 27-yard line. A gain of 1 and another 4th down coming up for the Royals.
Once again, Garrett Walsh and Timothy Smith getting pressure on Cachopo early on. They just didn't block Garrett Walsh once again coming out of the defensive end position and then kind of in a zone coverage downfield. Charlie White having his eyes towards the quarterback, able to come up before he could pick up the first down, only holding him to 2.
Horner back to punt once again, standing on his 13-yard line. Malik Braxton standing back on his own 41. Horner gets off a booming kick this time, and Braxton's going to fair catch it at the 41-yard line. Nice job by number 7, Kevin Wynn, to get down to cover it. We're going to take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And we are back again, third quarter of action. Rory Spillum takes the handoff, runs to the 44-yard line where he's finally tackled after a gain of 3 yards.
Early on here in the second half, Meadowdale's up by 22 points. Look for them just to continually run the football, waste the clock, take their time, all the way up to the point where it's nearing a delay of game on the offense. But we're about to see a lot of Malik Braxton and Corey Spillum coming out of the backfield. Well, Braxton has been at the wide receiver position, but a lot of Rory Spillum.
So almost a 4-yard pickup. We're going to call it 4 yards anyway, just short of the 45-yard line. Meadowdale with a 2nd and 6.
Another Wildcat, Steve.
There you go, Malik Braxton. And we know he can throw, too. He's going to try to scramble all the way out, fires it down the field, completes it to Charlie White. White getting out of bounds at the 42-yard line. A pickup of 13 yards, and surprised at the arm strength that Malik Braxton has. He actually started the game last week at quarterback for the first series, as Caleb Tingstead had been late to a practice. So punishment was he sat out one series, and Malik Braxton fired a ball down the field at one point. I think his intended receiver was Harry White, and he overthrew him by a little bit, but boy, did he have an arm. Malik can throw if he needs to. Tingstead in shotgun formation one more time, hands it to Spillum. Spillum's going to run it just a little bit over to the right, kind of right off the right guard, gets ahead forward to the 37-yard line. They pick up 5 yards. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 5.
Number 51 for the Mavericks, Bailey Walsh, 6 foot, 225-pound junior, getting on that defensive tackle for Lynnwood. Number 73, Will Eddington, and driving him back, giving an avenue for his runner to go through, and a nice solid 4-yard gain. It's a paper cut. It's not much, but it's going to hurt the defense.
A paper cut. I like that. 2nd and 6 coming up. 9 minutes showing left in the third quarter. Meadowdale already up 22-0 and looking for more. Charlie White once again with the reception, his second one on this drive. Gets ahead to the 29-yard line, a gain of 9, and another Maverick first down.
Tingstead, a little irritated at himself, knew that if he led White just a little bit towards the sideline, he was able to catch it and turn upfield, throw it a little quick toward his helmet. Great catch by White to use his hands and turn upfield, pick up the first down.
So Meadowdale looking for more here as they're already up 22-0. We pointed out that was the score of our last game. However, that last game, Mountlake Terrace put up 14 points in the first 3 minutes of the third quarter, so this one's not going quite that way yet, but there's still plenty of time as Braxton starts out to the right, and my goodness, he's something, isn't he? Spin move, almost got out of it as Malik might have picked up a yard on that play, but it's an impressive yard at that.
Whenever he's not down on the ground, you have to know where his whereabouts are, and if it's an arm tackle, he's going to break free and keep on running downfield, trying to inch his way closer to the goal line. You have to be able to get a couple guys for Lynnwood around him, not give him a lot of space, and bring him down in bunches.
It almost isn't fair. I mean, the guy has speed, he's got agility, and he's got balance on top of it all. He's kind of the total package when it comes to getting the ball in open spaces. They're going to go over to Charlie White. Incomplete. Almost intercepted as that ball was thrown just a little behind White. Got his hand on it and batted it up into the air where Bobby Graham almost picked it off while playing center field for the Royals. However, the ball does hit the turf, and that will bring up 3rd and 9.
Royals have to be able to capitalize on opportunities like a turnover, a tip pass straight back to the safety, Bobby Graham. You have to be able to catch that and get the offense some sort of better field position than they had in that first half and try to get some momentum on your side.
7:48 showing in the third quarter. 3rd and 9 coming up. Tingstead with Rory Spillum in the backfield. Looks to the right, throws it to Braxton. Incomplete. That ball was a bit high, but that's one that Braxton needs to catch. It's going to bring up a 4th and 9, and this could bring Brett Schaefer on to try another long field goal. He already hit from 44 early on. This one would be from about 45 or 46 yards.
That's probably going to be another pass Tingstad's a little irritated at himself about. Malik Braxton wide open. I don't know how he was wide open, but other guys were guarding the receivers and the tight end, Charlie White, overthrew him. With all the athleticism that Malik Braxton has, you'd think he'd be able to jump up and catch him, but it was just way too tall.
Schaefer on for the field goal. 45 yards out, right down the middle. The kick is up, plenty of distance, and it is good. Brett Schaefer 3 for 3 on field goal attempts tonight. Meadowdale 25, Lynnwood 0. We're going to take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network, presented by Shoreline Community College. Meadowdale with the first score of the third quarter. It comes on a 45-yard Brett Schaefer field goal, his third field goal of the night. Meadowdale now with a 25-0 lead. Lynnwood with 0 points on the board and 0 first downs for the game. They're about to go on offense one more time as that kick is taken at the 14-yard line, and there's some open space, but it closes quickly. That was number 30 on the return, Daniel Duplessis, and Duplessis is brought down by number 28, Colby Sasseneth. That's the third tackle I think I've seen him make in the last 4 kickoffs. Number 28 seems to be getting in there and shutting down the Royals before they get a chance to do much of anything on those returns.
Nice job. The only reason that he had that kind of chance is the guys on the kickoff team did not stay in their lane, went a little bit too far. The guy on the near side right next to the kicker went a little too far to the left, leading wide open lane for the runner to go through. But as you said, Steve, it closed quickly.
So Lynnwood with their best field position of the night to start a drive. They're on the 34-yard line, incomplete, and that one was almost picked off by Jimmy Bruders, number 36. The intended receiver was Lawton Manapun. Manapun had that ball thrown just behind him a little bit.
Sprint out to the near side of the field. Cachopo, I don't know if he thought that there was pressure behind him, but a dangerous pass, throwing it across his body and across the field. Number 36 for Meadowdale was right there on Manapun, Jimmy Bruders. Dangerous pass for the quarterback, and he's lucky it did not get intercepted.
2nd and 10 coming up. Cachopo rolling out to the left, fires it into the flat, incomplete. Intended target was Lucas Youngman. Youngman has that ball go off the top of his hands. Or top of his fingers, we'll call it that too. Top of his hands would be a little bit strange. Well, it is the top of his hands, really. At any rate, incomplete, brings up 3rd and 10.
Looked like a similar play from the one they just ran. And the offensive line isn't doing really a good job on the backside specifically. The tackle's supposed to hinge and block the outside linebacker. Number 7, Zach Johnson, came free and was bearing down on Cachopo.
4 receiver set as Wynn goes in motion, going left to right. Trips out to the right side now. Cachopo rolling out to the right-hand side. Getting pressured. Tim Smith has him and finally brings him down at the 34-yard line. Cachopo might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, and surprise, surprise, 4th down once again. Lynnwood still looking for their first down of this ballgame.
Well, just the speed and the size that Meadowdale has on defense, that defensive line is absolutely dominating the offensive line, getting back there, getting pressure on Cachopo, and they're continuing throughout with the entire play. The blocking on the offensive line may not be for as long, thinking their quarterback escaped. Not necessarily the case. The defensive line and defensive ends for Meadowdale are playing through the play entirely until the whistle is blown.
Malik Braxton back to return once again. He's going to fair catch this one on the 37-yard line, and that is where Meadowdale will take over. We'll take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mountlake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
And we are back again from Edmond Stadium. Meadowdale with a 25-0 lead and the ball. Handoff goes to Spillum. Spillum looking for room out to the right-hand side. Cuts it back into the middle where he's finally tackled at the 43-yard line, a gain of 6.
Play ran right off the right side of the right offensive tackle for Meadowdale. And I think Katzenberger, middle linebacker, just kind of misread it. He kind of went towards the B gap, which is between the guard and the tackle. Not necessarily the case. He had to go through one body, which sprung Spillum free for a nice 6-yard pickup.
6-yard pickup, 5:59 to go, 5:58. And that's when Brandon Pell gets to get out of his makeshift jail over there on the sideline. As Spillum once again with a carry up the middle, still pushing his way forward, and finally is brought down at the 41-yard line. A pickup of 16 yards for Rory, and another Mavericks first down.
offensive line from Meadowdale blocking the first guys, the defensive tackles, defensive ends, right there on the line of scrimmage, getting up to the second level, and then when they get up to the third level, that's exactly what happens, an instant push and continually picking up yards after contact.
Another handoff to Spillum. This time he's met in the backfield. Great play by number 3. That is Andrew Katzenberger. Sore shoulder and all, he's able to make that tackle. Holds Spillum to no gain, and that will bring up 2nd and 10.
And he's holding that shoulder and trying to loosen it up a little bit, so I don't know if he aggravated it right there on the tackle. But this isn't Lynnwood's offense, not a first down in the entire game thus far. This isn't usually the way that they come out. They're a little bit more dynamic, and that's mainly because number 3 is primarily playing on defense because of the shoulder injury.
2nd and 10 coming up. Pass out into the flat. That's Malik Braxton. Braxton getting ahead to the 36-yard line. Picked up 5. We'll bring up a 3rd and 4 for Meadowdale. Keeping that clock running right now. 4:45 to go here in the third quarter. And Lucas Youngman running off the field for Lynnwood right now.
Tingstad just getting the football out of his hands, trying to make a more manageable third down situation. Not a bad idea to get it to Malik Braxton to do it.
It's never a bad idea to get the ball to Malik Braxton, right? He's usually pretty good at creating something. As Tingstead back to pass right now, looking deep. Finally gets flushed out, throws it into the flat. He's got a man wide open at the 28, who is finally brought down at the 19-yard line. And that's Jesse Nevlett. Nevlett, the 5'10" junior wide receiver, with his first catch of the night. And it's good for 18 yards and another Maverick first down.
The safety came up on the slot and the outside corner. Both dropped back with Donovan Evans, leaving Nevlett wide open. I don't know why Tingstad didn't throw it to him a little bit earlier, or why Donovan Evans didn't try to get a block for him. Could have picked up a couple extra yards.
And we have a timeout called by Lynnwood. We'll take another quick break. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
To see how much you can save on car insurance and much more, call Jeff Smar. Jeff's office serves many areas including Lynnwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mount Lake Terrace. He can be reached at 425-949-7103 or jeffsmar@allstate.com.
And we are back again. 4:11 to go here in the third quarter. Steve Willits, Steve McGrain, that's your name, along with Angelo Camo directing us tonight. We've got Ian Hentz working the cameras and helping out with the operation of things. Cole, one of our camera operators. The mystery Cole, nobody seems to know his last name. We'll give him a shout out anyway. Again, this is a production put on by the school. We appreciate everybody who is lending a hand tonight. We had a few more hands on deck for the first game, and then everybody took off. So the fact that we've got Ian and Cole doing their thing out there, I want to make sure that they know that they are appreciated as we get a false start called against Meadowdale. Also should give a shout out to our referees tonight. Our head ref Warren Morrison, umpire Larry Link, line judge Vincent Corrigan, line judge Haven Barnes, back judge Bobby Bolak. And those are your referees tonight, doing a fine job, doing a doubleheader at that. They've been out here since 5 o'clock. I should say they've been out here since before 5 o'clock and still going at it here as we are 4 minutes and 10 seconds away from the end of the third quarter of our second and final game of the evening. Rory Spillum takes the handoff. He's got some space, cuts it back into the middle, where he's finally tackled at the 14-yard line, and a very late flag was thrown in the backfield there. We'll wait to see what the call is. And it is a holding against Meadowdale.
I think it was on the right guard. Trying to get number 66, Peyton Smyer,
yeah.
Smyer. Just a little bit of a hold on the defensive tackle for Lynnwood, number 57, Aaron Riles, who's making a play, trying to get a push upfield. Try to get to Spillum. Wasn't able to, though, but it was due to the hold It's going to back up Meadowdale a little bit. And Steve, once again, getting some progression going towards the goal line, and then just an undisciplined, unfundamental play, and they're being brought back once again.
And that's something that Meadowdale can get away with in a game like this, and they got away with it a little bit last week. But, you've got a couple of weeks here to, fine-tune things a little bit. You've got Renton next week, a non-conference game. Shorecrest the week after that, and I don't know how to say this, but Shorecrest is by far the least talented team in Wesco. Let's just put it that way. They are winless this year, and they only average 4.7 points per game when they're playing Wesco teams. I guess the point being that Meadowdale has a pretty easy road ahead of them until the playoffs. By then, they're going to need to clean some of that up a little bit as Tingstead fires it down the sideline to Charlie White, who makes a spectacular catch. Unfortunately for him, it's out of bounds. And give Carson Horner, number 21, a lot of credit as he was all over White on that play and made sure that he didn't have a lot of room to catch the ball inside the boundaries.
You also have to, the other biggest thing for Meadowdale is staying disciplined, staying fundamental during the game, and then throughout the week and throughout the progression of the football game on Friday nights, stay healthy. They have a lot of weapons out there. They got White, Spillum, they got Braxton. You just have to be able to stay healthy so that you can have those guys all throughout playoffs and you have the best opportunity to win.
And speaking of stay healthy, they still have GP Roughton, who might be coming back eventually at quarterback. Is a nice screen pass to Braxton. Braxton's got some open space, cuts it back rather nicely, and is finally tackled at the 15-yard line. Malik picking up 26 yards on a screen pass. It's going to leave him just a little bit short of the first down. Actually picked up 21 yards as the play originated at the 36. It's going to bring up a 3rd and about 4. However, we have another penalty marker down. Almost as though it's on cue, right?
Yes, sir.
We just talked about this, and once again, a huge Meadowdale gain will come back due to a penalty marker.
And I'm not surprised they actually didn't go to the screen earlier. The defensive line for Lynnwood and the linebackers have been aggressive the entire night, just trying to get to the backfield quickly to stop Spillum or Malik Braxton, who was in the backfield on that play. Just you're supposed to feel that if you're a defensive lineman, if you don't feel the offensive line blocking you for very long and kind of letting you go towards their quarterback, you should be able to feel that and immediately find where the running back was. It got called back for the holding, but you have to know that if nobody blocks you, if you're a defensive tackle, it's probably the reason why, and that's because of the execution of the play.
So 2nd and 21. Coming up from the 32-yard line. 3:37 to go here in the quarter. Tingstead looking, finally fires the ball deep. He's got Braxton, makes the catch at the 6 and is brought down by Bobby Graham. A pickup of 26 yards and another Maverick first down.
Nice, great job by Tingstead, buying some time within the pocket, rolling out, not necessarily rolling out, but stepping to his left, seeing Malik Braxton downfield. Once again, I don't know how you lose him if you're a Lynnwood Royal. You have to know his whereabouts. He's the most dynamic runner with the football in his hands. But number 22, Bobby Graham, coming over from safety position and bringing him down.
So 3:16 to go here in the third quarter. Actually spotted him down at the 8-yard line. They're going to hand off to Spillum. Spillum tries to punch it out to the right, cuts it back into the middle. Still fighting his way forward towards that end zone and is finally brought down about a yard short. It's going to bring up a 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line as Lynnwood doing their best to keep Spillum out of the end zone. Almost didn't happen, but they did finally bring him down about 3 feet short. 2nd and goal. Spillum still in the backfield. Takes the handoff. No, Tingstead keeps it. And Tingstead is fighting his way towards the end zone and makes it in. Touchdown, Mavericks. Caleb Tingstead was set on keeping that ball from the get-go. Almost was stopped a couple yards short, fought his way through it, and managed to get in. And Meadowdale now with a 31-0 lead with 2:34 to go in the third quarter.
Tingstead, the senior, 6'3", 225. If you want to bring him down, tackle him low or have a lot of people around. That time, Lynnwood just flew by, arm tackles. That's not going to get it done as the starting quarterback for the Mavericks walked into the end zone after eluding a couple of tacklers.
Brett Schaefer on to kick another PAT. Tingstead with the hold. Schaefer with the kick. And it is 32-0. All Meadowdale here with 2:34 to go in the third quarter. We're going to take a quick break. You are watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Wow, we just got our first score of the game there as PA announcer is reading out scores right now. Marysville Pilchuck over Everett 56-14. Lake Stevens beating Monroe tonight 63-14. That was that ball bounces on the 1 yard line. This is going to be interesting. Nice kick by Schaefer as the ball bounced on the 1 yard line and looked like it was heading towards the end zone, and that's certainly what number 30 Darnay DeBlisis thought, as DeBlisis was content on watching it roll towards the end zone, which would have been an automatic touchback. Ball got to about the 1 and then bounced forward. DeBlisis had to jump on it and was fortunate enough to get the ball and get it back to the, I guess they're going to spot that one right about at the 7 yard line. So somewhat of a crisis diverted there, but at the same time, they're going to have to start their possession at their own 7. Mariner over Mount Vernon 20-10. Another score as we're getting these starting to trickle in right now. A lot of games, the 7 o'clock games becoming finals. A little late activity there as Youngman and Buonto getting tied up with one another. No penalty marker there as the run was for a gain of about a yard. DeBlesis also getting the carry on the play. 2:07 showing in the third quarter. Meadowdale 32, Lynnwood 0. Cachopo in shotgun formation. Lynnwood still looking for their first down of the night. Cachopo fakes the handoff, drops back to pass. He's being rushed, and he's tackled from behind. Garrett Walsh, big number 99, with the sack. Drops Cachopo back at the 3 yard line, a loss of 7. And Lynnwood in familiar territory, 3rd and long once again.
Walsh working on that right tackle of Lynnwood. Just a quick swim move. Doesn't lose a step. He does the move and then curls around, leaving the tackle behind him. Besides that, there was nobody else there to block him. No running back. Cachopo was just kind of left there just for the taking as he just immediately swallowed him up and sacked him for the loss.
So 1:12 to go here in the third quarter. Lynnwood now back at their own 4 yard line, 3rd and 14. Cachopo dropping back to pass one more time, fires it in. No, picked off by Braxton at the 17 yard line. Malik looking for the sideline. Malik in to the end zone. Touchdown, Mavericks.
Malik Braxton has now, I believe, scored in every way possible tonight. Kick return. He's had a touchdown just from playing out there on offense at the wide receiver position. Did he?
He scored a lot tonight.
He has, and then now he adds interception for a touchdown into his repertoire. Outstanding game on all facets, special teams, on offense, and now on defense.
So Schaefer in to kick the extra point one more time. It's 38-0. This extra point makes it 39-0. You know, if Meadowdale goes for 2 right now, they could get it up to 40-0, which would kick in the mercy rule and get a running clock for the fourth quarter. Apparently they're electing to not do that, though. Schaefer kicks it up and through the uprights. It is good. I'm just saying, if they wanted to get out of here, they could go for 2 and they could send us on our way.
They have a very reliable kicker out there. Just kick it up for the extra point.
Just play it conservative and make sure you get that 39-point lead just in case.
Yes, sir.
So 55 seconds to go here in the quarter. It's Meadowdale 39, Lynnwood nothing. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mount Lake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
And welcome back to Edmonds Stadium, where the Meadowdale Mavericks are running away from the Lynnwood Royals 39-0. And we still have another quarter to play. That is number 30, Duplessis, with the return, gets it out to the 33-yard line. Should mention that Brett Schaefer given a little bit of a break right now is Julio Abad, the junior kicker, getting to boot the ball for the first time tonight. And with 49 seconds to go in the third quarter and a 39-point lead, it's good to get some of these younger players, the players that you might rely on next year, a little Friday night action and get them acclimated to the game a little bit because, well, like I said, Brett Schaefer's a senior. You might as well give Abad a kick. And you've got the 39-point lead. Horner catches that ball out in the flat. Buonto and Jackson over there to make the stop. Picked up about a yard on the play. Clock continues to run with 34 seconds to go.
And you still, as you mentioned it, you did the fresh kicker in there. You got Malik Braxton. You got Garrett Walsh. Charlie White's still out there. Number 7, Zach Johnson from Meadowdale is out there. So you have to think when these 20 seconds tick off the clock that a lot of fresh guys will be in there. And that, as a player starting, especially in high school, letting the scout guys get an opportunity to go out there and play under the lights on Friday is something that you definitely work towards so that they can have the opportunity like you did.
Yeah, Mike Kirkman on the carry on that play. Tim Smith, one of the players stepping up to make that tackle. Yeah, you got a few other players substituting in right now for Meadowdale. Zach Johnson, number 7, getting some action right now, as well as number 18, Chaz Arenabis, getting his first action of the night as well. And we have come to the end of the third quarter, a game dominated by the Meadowdale Mavericks. They lead 39-0. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
People assume quality car insurance has to cost more. People assume too much. The truth is, drivers who switched to Allstate last year saved money and got better protection. So get the facts, because you know what they say about people who assume. They pay more for car insurance than you and me.
To see how much you can save on car insurance and much more, call Jeff Smar. Jeff's office serves many areas including Lynnwood, Edmonds, Bothell, and Mount Lake Terrace. He can be reached at 425-949-7103 or jeffsmar@allstate.com.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And we are back again. 12 more minutes of action coming at you as Justin Cachopo drops back to pass and doesn't find anything as he is tackled by big 99 Garrett Walsh and number 52 Tim Smith. Two guys that he's gotten to know very well tonight, as Walsh and Smith have at times it almost feels as though they're playing for Lynnwood. They spend more time in the backfield than they do on their own side of the field.
Just too much athleticism, too much size and strength with Smith and Walsh. Walsh, we've known that when he coming into this year, he was going to be a dynamic player at the defensive end position. We're in 99, playing like J.J. Watt, getting into the backfield once again for only a 2-yard pickup.
Nice analogy there. He does play a lot like J.J. Watt, and they do, in fact, wear the same number. Don't think he's making J.J. Watt money yet, but you never know someday. Ball hits the 42-yard line. Braxton's going to take this one on the bounce, and he's looking for more room, and somebody just got drilled by Charlie White on the return. Charlie White with a very clean block. I believe that was number 10, Clarence Aseska, who unfortunately made White's acquaintance on that play. And Charlie White, who's a big fella in his own right, White standing at 6'3", 225. And Aseska is going to feel that one in the morning.
You know, we talked about guys being taken in and out of the game. We got a new quarterback in there from Meadowdale. And we talked about the shoulder injury to Lynnwood's running back, Andrew Katzenberger, who typically plays both sides of the ball tonight just on defense. Hopefully they keep him out the rest of the game, which I think they will, so that he could rest up and get healthy, because Lynnwood without him is in a completely different team.
Yeah, Rory Spillum getting ahead forward for a 7-yard gain, tackled by Mike Kirkman. And we do have a new quarterback. However, it's not going to change the way in which I call the game very much. It's one Tingstead to another as younger brother checks into the game. That is number 12, Drew Tingstead, the sophomore. Drew taking over for older brother Caleb, who had himself one heck of a night.
A little bit of a size and weight difference, too, between the 2 years.
Yeah, Caleb is listed at 6'3", 225. Drew is 5'10", 150. It's one of those cases where little brother has to be very nice and polite to big brother, or else there might be some punishment to pay, right? We've got a timeout here by Lynnwood. We'll keep it right here with 10:47 to go. 2nd and 3 on the 32-yard line. And like you mentioned, this is one of those games where at this point you have a couple of objectives. You want to get some younger players in possibly. You also want to make sure you come out of this game healthy. Like we mentioned before, Meadowdale, they've got a couple of weeks where it's not as crucial to them. They've got a game against Renton next week, which will be broadcasting at 8 p.m. on the Sound Alive Sports Network. I believe that will be you and Keith Neely calling that game. And then the following week they play Shorecrest, a team that is winless so far in Wesco, before the crossover game, which, again, if Meadowdale takes care of business here tonight, they pretty much clinch first place. They do clinch first place. So they will, on October 31st, or at least on that weekend, be playing the number 1 team in Wesco 3A North, which will more than likely be Marysville-Pilchuck. That game would be 3 weeks from tonight. Again, it's to be determined or to be scheduled. The only thing that might keep it from being a Friday night game is the fact that it is Halloween, so it could schedule that for a Thursday or Saturday, but we'll keep you posted on that. But the point being that really Meadowdale, their next real meaningful game will be 3 weeks from tonight. And again, you want to keep yourself fresh, you want to keep yourself healthy. You want to keep getting better, because once you get to October 31st, those games start to really count. You get into playoff action.
And next week does not get any easier for Lynnwood, as they are going to go against a team rolling through Wesco 3A South in Mountain Lake Terrace.
And that was number 16 on the play. That's DeLong Smiley Tatum getting his first carry of the game. Smiley Tatum picking up 10 yards on the play for another first down. Yeah, that's a Mountain Lake Terrace team that is 5-1 on the year, 4-game winning streak, and a couple of very impressive wins along the way. And it is Mountain Lake Terrace's homecoming week, another game that will be broadcasted right here on the Sound Alive Sports Network, starting at 5 p.m. Smiley Tatum running around to the left. He's got some speed as he cuts it back into the middle. He's finally brought down at the 5-yard line for a gain of 12. DeLon Smiley Tatum, 5'9", 145-pound sophomore. Bobby Graham still in the game as he makes the tackle, and unfortunately for Graham, he's coming off the field here limping. That's your starting safety for Lynnwood, so that's not a good sign. I have a feeling we've seen the last of Graham here tonight. As at this point, any kind of injury, he just needs to work on healing up and hopefully getting ready for next week. First and goal from the 5-yard line, 9:26 to go in this ball game. Handoff goes to Smiley Tatum. He cuts it back into the middle and is brought down at the 2-yard line. A pickup of 3.
Smiley Tatum in there, running back from Meadowdale, 5'9", 145-pound sophomore, getting him some experience on Friday night. Let's see if he can get a touchdown at the varsity level.
Smiley Tatum staying in the backfield. Tingstead, younger Tingstead, we should point out. Perhaps he might try to get a touchdown right now. He's going to throw for one, and he throws an interception. That is Richard Trung, and he might be going 102 yards. He will not be caught. That is not Trung. That is number 85, Lawton Manapun. Manapun goes all the way. Touchdown Royals. A team that has yet to have a first down tonight, but now they've got points on the board. And it doesn't get much better than that if you are a defensive player. Every player dreams of a long interception for a touchdown. He was a couple yards deep when he picked that one off.
Just try to do quick slants, being so close to the end zone. You don't have a lot of space. So the outside receiver, quick slant, just threw it. I don't think he saw Lawton Manapon just sitting there at the safety position. Was able to intercept it in not a bad way. A bad pass by Tingstad, the first one of the night, so he might have been a little cold, throwing it right to the Lynnwood Royal.
8:28 to go here in the fourth quarter, 39-6. And this is what I do like about high school football. For all intents and purposes, this game is over right now. They're still trailing by 33, but we're sitting right here behind the parents. They're excited. They're all high-fiving each other. The cheerleaders are going crazy right now. The band is playing. And Lynnwood, I'll give them credit. They're down by, they were down by 39 a second ago, and their fan base is still here. These guys are still out here cheering on their Royals team tonight as Horner kicks the extra point up and good. So good for them to get on the board. It's kind of nice. It makes the score look a little bit better. And, hey, if you're Lawton Manapun, you will never forget that play as you just ran 102 yards for an interception for a touchdown. We're going to take a quick break. 8:28 to go in the game. Meadowdale 39, Lynnwood 7. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mount Lake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
And welcome back to Edmonds Stadium. Lawton Manapun putting the Lynnwood Royals on the board tonight. 39-7, Meadowdale still holding on to that 39-7, 32-point lead with 8:28 to go in the ball game. And as you mentioned, Drew Tingstead, his first pass attempt of the night, and didn't go quite the way he had hoped it would. But I guess if there is a positive to that, he gets to come right back onto the field and try to redeem himself.
Yeah, look for Meadowdale not to throw many more passes tonight. Just continually handing the football off to DeLon Smiley Tatum. Try to get this clock running down. But if they do try to air it out a little bit, make sure he knows the whereabouts of all the defenders on Lynnwood.
Well, pooch kick there as number 21 fields it. That is Paul Savchuk. Savchuk taking the ball right around the 35 and advances it forward to the 40, which is where Meadowdale will start this possession. Meadowdale had a shot to go into the end zone and get the running clock going. Again, there is a mercy rule in football once you're up by 40 points. Once a team takes a 40-point lead for the remainder of the game, the clock continues to run even through timeouts. And Meadowdale was so close to that before that interception. So if they want to get this clock running now, they're going to have to do it on their own with yardage. As Drew Tingstead once again is back in at quarterback for his second possession of the night. DeLon Smiley Tatum the sophomore who we saw get the bulk of the carries on that last drive, is also in once again. And apparently Meadowdale is enjoying their time at Edmonds Stadium. They not only don't want the running clock to start up, they also take a timeout. So with 8:21 to go here in the game, the clock is stopped, and we'll take a quick break. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network.
Are you a whiz in filmmaking? Do you want to become extraordinary in filmmaking? Then come to Shoreline Community College and work with Shoreline Productions, where you will learn to transform your work in teams of working professionals and students to create enchanting effects such as green screen, text animation, and so much more. So come to Shoreline Community College, where you can mystify and dazzle in filmmaking.
And we are back again at Edmonds Stadium. Drew Tingstead hands off to Smiley Tatum. Tatum looking for some room, starts to go to the right and finally cuts it back into the middle, where he's dragged down by a couple of defensive players. Looks as though number 52, Kaysen Salvetti, was in on the tackle, as well as number 36. We don't have a 36 on our roster, so that might have been 30. Oh, it's 38. Stephen Wybark making the tackle from the middle linebacker position. We'll bring up a 2nd and 6. Tingstead in shotgun formation once again, takes the snap, hands it to Smiley Tatum. Goes up, fumbles the football, and I think Lynnwood might have recovered it. Wait to see what the sign is from the referees. Lynnwood definitely came up with the ball. Now it just becomes a question of whether or not Smiley Tatum was down before the ball popped loose. They're going to say it is a turnover. Lynnwood football. Number 67, Yasik Yosef, coming up with that ball. And Meadowdale, who was up 39-0 and about ready to score just a few moments ago, throw the 102-yard interception return for a touchdown, and then immediately fumble the ball back. And Lynnwood now with their best offensive field possession of the night.
Head coach from Meadowdale can't be very happy right now. Typically when you go from the starters, two guys who don't necessarily get to play, maybe some JV guys, scout players throughout the week, if they get their opportunity, don't want any drop-off, although at times there is. With the interception, that return for a touchdown, and now the fumble, Lynnwood gets the ball back at probably their best starting field position the entire night.
Here comes the handoff, running up through the middle. That is number 30, Darnay Deblises. Deblises getting ahead to the 43-yard line. He picked up a gain of 3. Walsh in on the tackle once again. Meadowdale continuing to sub a few more players in. Marcus Ward, number 58, a sophomore, now playing at the left end position. See number 2 out there, Anthony Allen, also a sophomore, getting some playing time. Blake Jackson still playing the corner spot. Big TT still out there as well, so they are still sprinkling in a few of their starters along with the backups. Cachopo looking over the middle, firing, and incomplete. That is a big hit that was put on the intended right wide receiver. That was Manapum, who the ball was thrown to. And number 28, Colby Saysmith, making the big hit there. We've called his name a few times tonight. Up until now, his name had been called on kickoff returns, but this time Saysmith coming through and putting a nice hit on Manapum to make sure that he did not catch that football.
And that's what you like to see, guys going in there who don't typically get to play, but flying around because they're excited that they're on the field. Pass was thrown to the guy he was covering, and he was going to make sure that he was not going to catch, that Manapum was not going to catch the football. So he's able to fly up there from the safety position and knock him down. Incompletion, great play.
Yeah, 45, Eric Hamburg, another defensive player, getting some time for Meadowdale. Lynnwood's going to throw this one deep. They're going for Lucas Youngman. Incomplete. It's a no call there. That could have almost been an offensive call against Youngman. They do not call it. That's going to bring up 3rd and long. Noticing that we've got a few Lynnwood players getting in for their first action of the night as well, or getting limited time. We mentioned Stephen Weibark a minute ago on defense. He's now getting some offensive time as well. For the most part, though, Lynnwood has a lot of their starters still on the field. 4th and 7 coming up. They're going for it. Perhaps if you are Keontae Bankhead, you know you've got a big game coming up against Mount Lake Terrace. It's not a matter of knowing that this game is out of reach at this point. It might just be a matter of trying to work on some things and getting ready for your next game.
Trying to work on some things, something you can hang your hat on after when the game is over, that you can look forward to next Friday and say we did well in that aspect.
Cachopo rolling out to his left, looking down the field. Oh, and open was Manapum. He almost had that catch. That would have resulted in a first down. Lynnwood still without one tonight, and that is a turnover on downs, and with 6:25 to go in this ball game, Meadowdale takes over possession. Not a bad pass by Cachopo to Manapon, just unable to catch it. Now with Meadowdale's offense coming back onto the field with Drew Tingstad, DeLon Smiley Tatum, make sure you, when you're going through traffic, to put 2 hands over the football so nobody can strip it, and don't go out of bounds so the clock stops and continually runs. Tingstead in shotgun formation. Again, it's kind of a formality at this point, but as we mentioned earlier, with the victory tonight, Meadowdale wraps up the 3A South Division. They will be the champions. We won't crown them yet. They've got 6 minutes and 25 seconds to go to make that official, but they're well on their way. As Smiley Tatum, very quick scat back-like tailback as he finds some room out to the left and gets ahead to the 49-yard line. Actually, they'll spot him at midfield now. A gain of 7 for the young sophomore who's getting some nice carries right now. Realized nothing was up the middle and down in the trenches and the teeth of that Lynnwood defense. Bounce it out to the far side of the field and pick up a nice 7-yard gain. Clock continues to run, 5:54 to go. 2nd and 3 for the Mavericks. Tingstead hands off to Smiley Tatum. He's got a little more room. Breaks it outside. He's to the 35, and it's a foot race. 20-15, and he's finally dragged down. Number 15, Eric Vo, another sophomore for Lynnwood, making the tackle, and Smiley Tatum picking up 35 yards before Vo saved a touchdown. Not much of a drop-off in comparison to the productivity of these running backs tonight. Spillum and Malik Braxton bringing the sophomore and Smiley Tatum. Immediately bounces it out to the right side. Picked up a nice, massive gain, and once again, Meadowdale is knocking with a 1st and 10 on the 14. 5:29 to go here in the ball game. Drew Tingstead, and now we've got number 21, Paul Savchuk in. We've seen Savchuk in the fullback formation a handful of times tonight. First time we've seen him as a single back. Savchuk takes the handoff, goes right up the middle, powers his way down to the 10-yard line, and finally ends up at the 9 as he might have picked up an extra yard with second effort there at the end. No, they're going to actually say he was spotted down at the 10, a gain of 4. Just continually, you're going to see Meadowdale doing a daily dose of handing the pill off to their running back, just continually try to get that clock going so there's no more opportunities for injuries and this game gets over and they can look forward to next week when they play Renton. Savchuk stays in the backfield. Meadowdale very content to let as much of that clock tick off as possible. They hand it off to Savchuk. Pushes the pile to the 6-yard line where he's brought down. Might have even gotten to the 5. We'll leave them about a yard short as it's going to bring up 3rd down for Meadowdale. Noticing we've got a few other players out on the field now that hadn't played earlier. Nate Nevlett, the junior, now getting some time at wide receiver. Number 17, Halen Robertson for the first time tonight. Smiley Tatum now back into the ball game. Zach Walsh, the sophomore wide receiver, also getting some playing time. I believe that is the younger brother of Garrett. Number 99, who's had himself a heck of a night. Smiley Tatum takes the handoff. He's got the 5. Almost gets into the end zone as he's dragged down from behind. Nice tackle on the play by Andrew Warren, the 6'2", 172-pound sophomore for Lynnwood. saved a touchdown. However, he was not able to save them from getting a first down. And Meadowdale now with a 1st and goal with 3:38 showing left on the clock.
Look for them to hand the ball right back to Smiley Tatum. Try to get him back to the outside, get him in open space where he can turn it upfield and try to get some sort of opportunity in there. Or put him right behind that big offensive line for Meadowdale and just try to score from 3 yards out.
Smiley Tatum takes the hand. No, it's fumbled as Tinkstead and Tatum, and it's still on the ground. I think Lynnwood's going to come up with this football. And in fact, Lynnwood has taken this ball away. The 3rd turnover by the Royals here in the 4th quarter.
And that's the 2nd one by their backup quarterback, Drew Tingstad. He had the interception return for the touchdown. And once again, they're in the red zone. They're knocking on the door, try to score another touchdown from the 3. He held on to the football. I don't think Smiley Tatum knew he was going to get the ball or Tingstad was going to hold on to it. Ball dropped to the turf. Lynnwood was able to pick it up.
Curious to see if we get a new quarterback in here for the first time tonight. As more substitutions continue to filter on into the game. Notice we've got number 80, Antonio Samuel, going onto the field for the first time tonight for Lynnwood. Joshua Morales, an offensive lineman, getting some playing time. And Lynnwood's going to call a timeout. So with 3:09 to go, we'll take another break. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
And we are back again from Edmonds Stadium. A new quarterback is now in the game. Duplessis takes the handoff from number 13, Andrew Warren. We just mentioned Warren a moment ago on the defensive side of things, and now he is in playing a little QB. As the Lynnwood Royals have yet to get a first down tonight. They have 2 minutes and 49 seconds to try to get their first one of the game. A game that has been dominated by the Meadowdale Mavericks.
With Cachopo being a senior, Andrew Warren, a sophomore, going to be a junior next year, 6'2", 172 pounds. We're going to see a lot of them next year starting quarterback for the Lynnwood Royals. So if they are, I do possibly try to throw the football downfield to try to open it up. Let's see what kind of arm he has.
And number 37, Kobe Diamond. Another backup player getting some action. Warren's not even going to get a chance as that ball is snapped over his head and out of the end zone for 2 points. And as if Meadowdale needed more, they just picked up 2. It's going to make the score 41-7 with 2:11 to go in the game. It's also going to mean that Lynnwood gets to kick the ball off to Meadowdale one more time. I have a feeling that if Meadowdale, well, maybe not. Meadowdale might just elect to take a few knees and try to get the game over with. But then again, if you're trying to give your younger players a little bit of extra time, this might be a good time to do it. And quite frankly, you've had a couple of mishaps with the second team unit here in the fourth quarter. Maybe you want to get them feeling a little better about the situation and try to let them pick up a first down or two here.
And Spillum and Braxton, both seniors. Smiley Tatum, a sophomore, so maybe try to get the younger guy who's going to probably fill their role the next 2 seasons at the starting running back position, an opportunity to keep on going. And Steve, we do, if you look back there, we got Nick Neely still and Malik Braxton here to take this kickoff, which is kind of an interesting call.
Yeah, Braxton and Neely both in still.
Just the normal kick return unit for Meadowdale.
Carson Horner set to kick this one off. And again, safety is a little bit different than a touchdown. You kick the ball from the 20-yard line as opposed to the 40-yard line. Second safety of the night for Meadowdale. You don't see two safeties in a game very often. Ball's kicked. Is that Garrett Walsh? We're going to see Walsh get a return here at the 47. From 147 to the other, he picks up 6 yards. The big man's done just about everything on defense tonight. Let him touch the rock for once and see what he can do with it, and gets it forward for a few extra, and that is where Meadowdale will take over with 2:05 to go in the game.
So, yeah, let's see if they try to keep on getting more looks at Smiley Tatum, or, as you had mentioned, Steve, take a couple knees and just kind of get out from this game with a victory and then go home until next week.
So 2:05 to go. Let's see what they decide to do here. As once again, Tingstead, younger Tingstead, I should say, number 12, Drew, and he's going to take a knee. And I would imagine Lynnwood's going to be perfectly content with that. As the clock runs now with 1:47 to go. So again, the Meadowdale Mavericks, with this victory, wrap up the 3A South Division. This brings their record to 5-0 in conference, 5-1 overall. Lynnwood, well, they're going to fall to 1-3 in conference and 3-3 overall. Lynnwood, as you mentioned earlier, a very big game against Mount Lake Terrace next week. And then the following week, they will finish off their regular season with a game against Shorewood. Not the last game of the season, I might add, as there is the crossover game in 3 weeks against a opponent to be determined as Tingstead takes another knee. 1:04 to go here in the game right now. And if you're Meadowdale, you may not feel great about the way your offense played, but they did enough to get the job done, and you certainly have to be happy with what your defense did tonight.
Well, special teams did a great job, and so did the defense. Got a little bit more kinks to work out there with Renton coming up next Friday night to play against the Mavericks, but it shouldn't be a problem because they did do a lot of great things tonight, and there's not a lot of negatives.
32 seconds to go in this game. This should be the final snap of the ball game. Tingsted's going to let that clock tick down just a little bit more before he takes the snap, puts his leg down, and that should do it. That will do it. It's just a mere formality now as we just watch that clock tick. It's now at 11 and counting. And the Meadowdale Mavericks are your 3A West Coast South Division champions with a 41-7 victory tonight here against the Lynnwood Royals. We're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, your Red Onion Burger Player of the Night, as well as some final comments. Steve McGrain, we'll let you get out of here. Thank you very much, sir, for a great night.
Pleasure.
Had a lot of fun, and once again, we will be right back. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mount Lake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
Clogged drain? Other plumbing problems? Call Action Jackson Plumbing for 24-hour service. Owned by a lifetime Edmonds resident and Edmonds Woodway grad, Action Jackson is the drain cleaning specialist. They can unclog most internal drains for only $99 plus tax. Call 425-877-5601 or visit actionjacksonplumbing.com.
Welcome to Northwest Best, brought to you by Smart Service Subaru. Here's your host, Mike Halsey.
We're back at the Red Onion in Mount Lake Terrace, and I'm with the owner, Sean, and the food here is absolutely terrific. The burgers are made with 100% beef, made to order with fresh ingredients. And you're involved in a lot of community projects.
Yes, Mike, we are. With the help of our loyal customers, we're able to give back to our community. Such as we take 100 kids shopping with cops and join us for our terrific Tuesday fundraisers. Join us
at Red Onion Burger.
And thank you for watching.
And we are back again. Once again, the final score tonight, Meadowdale 41, Lynnwood 7. Our Red Onion Burger player of the game is on his way up here right now. And no, Tom Davis, you are not the player of the game. One of the PA announcers just walked by and asked if he was the player of the game, and he is not. Our player of the game, however, is finally making his way up here, as we'll get his headphones on here in just a moment. I'll have you put those on right now. And we're going to get a picture here first before we get you even talking here, so let's pose for that. You are the Red Onion Burger player of the game. Ian Hentz with the photography work. Garrett Walsh, congratulations tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Big victory. Hey, by the way, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. I'm sure you've thought about it a little bit. With this victory, you guys clinched the 3A South title tonight.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's not a bad thing to be, right?
Yeah, it's great for us. We've been practicing really hard. We worked out really hard this summer. We've seen it pay off now, which is good.
Now, for you, it was a little bit different. You were the only you had a great defensive front last year with Simmons and Alcaderi in there with you.
Yeah.
You had Tim Smith coming over from the offensive side to play both ways this year, and then you had Big TT coming over to help out.
Yeah.
What's that been like for you this year?
Well, it's great. I mean, JoJo and Marzell were really good last year, and they taught me a lot of things, and now I'm trying to teach Tim and Tiano some things that I know.
And are they catching on? They look like they're catching on pretty well.
Yeah, we're looking really good.
Yeah, well, you and Tim in particular, it felt like you guys were in on just about every tackle tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Unofficially, we didn't have a statistician up here, but unless we missed something early, I don't think they got a first down on you guys tonight.
I don't think so either.
So 0 first downs as a defensive player, that's a sense of pride, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we practiced really hard this week. And we just know what we were doing. We just came out and executed our game plan.
Now, and one other thing we noticed, you've been tackling ball carriers all night, and finally at the end of the game there, you got to return a kickoff. Was that kind of exciting?
Yeah. I mean, last year I had one against Glacier Peak, and I got 20 yards, and then I got chopped.
Okay,
and
so
all my friends kind of make fun of me because they say every time I get the ball, I try to run someone over, but I always end up getting chopped. So, I just try to work on that sometimes.
Well, if your friends were here tonight and they saw you getting after Justin Cachopo and all those guys all night, I don't think they're going to make fun of you too much because you had yourself one heck of a game.
Yeah, thank you.
And again, you are the Red Onion Burger player of the game. 5-1 on the season overall, 5-0 in conference, and you guys are rolling right now. So, Garrett Walsh, congratulations again.
Thank you.
Get down there and enjoy this game,
all
and
right, thank you.
Good luck to you next week against Renton, a team you guys really don't know much about, right?
Yeah, I actually have no idea anything about them, so it'll be fun to see.
And in some ways, that makes it a little more fun, right? I mean, you know a lot of these teams in Wesco. Are you kind of looking forward to playing a non-conference game?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun. I mean, I like playing conference games too because they mean a little bit more, but playing non-conference games will be fun too.
Sure. And now, not to look ahead too far, but you guys might have a date with Marysville Pilchuck coming up in 3 weeks.
It'll be a good game.
You've been following them a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. It'll be fun. We'll have a good game plan going in. We'll execute it. We'll do what we're supposed to do.
Cool. Well, until then, Renton and then Shorecrest and then on to bigger and better things. So, Garrett Walsh, congratulations again tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So, once again, our final score, 41-7. We're going to take a real quick break, and then we'll come back and have a few closing comments. You are watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And once again, your final score, Meadowdale 41, Lynnwood 7. Reminder that we've got another doubleheader coming at you next week from Edmond Stadium. The 5 p.m. game, Mount Lake Terrace's homecoming versus these very same Lynnwood Royals, followed by an 8 o'clock game. These Meadowdale Mavericks, who just won their division tonight, playing a non-conference game against Renton. So once again, what more can you say? Meadowdale holding Lynnwood to no first downs tonight, no offensive scoring. The only score came on a 102-yard interception return, and really just total domination by the Mavericks. They rolled to an easy victory, and they're looking to maybe get another one next week against Renton, a game you can watch right here on the Sound Alive Sports Network. So once again, for Steve McGrain, who was the color commentator tonight, for Angelo Camo, for Ian Hentz, for Cole Bronson, and everybody else that helped with this production, my name is Steve Willits. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a good night. You've been watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.